All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Market Close. We are here today, and we've got some earnings that we got to get into. We have ARM, we have Qualcomm, and we have Microstrategy, which no longer is actually called Microstrategy. We will get into that today. But it's going to be an exciting day for a bunch of earnings that we got going on here later today. Stock market's doing okay. Nothing too crazy as we take a look at it. 13 minutes left until the close. We have Palantir at 100. We'll see if we close above 100. Right now, we're barely above 100, but throughout the entire day, it's been basically holding these levels. I think we dipped to like 99.70 for a little bit. $100.05 right here. SMCI, great day, up 8%. Google, crappy day, down 7.5%. NVIDIA, great day. It was at 124.3 at one point, 123.7. Right now, NVIDIA position is officially filled with those 500 shares at a 125 average on NVIDIA. Meta's at 705. Rocket Lab's down a little bit. Grab getting hit badly, down 10.4%. I've got some updates on Grab in terms of downgrades that came from the street, so we'll talk about that. And then you got Hoodie that had an incredible day. I mean, it was at 54.33 at one point, 53.98 right now. I think we're definitely going to close above 53.50 and hopefully get a close above 54, which would be incredible. So it's been a big day for a lot of these movers. Broader S&P not really moving too crazy. It's up a little bit right here at 603, but not too big to the downside or to the upside. Amazon earnings is not today. Amazon earnings will be tomorrow, but today we have the semis, Qualcomm and ARM, which are going to be important. We have MicroStrategy from the Bitcoin crypto perspective. That's going to be important. And we have Symbiotic, which is a robotics company that is also going to be important. But before we get started, I have to issue a public apology to Mrs. Christina, who responded under Matt Money's tweet about how he is waiting for the market open and market close. Christina said, "No, but actually, even my kids know the streaming schedule, although this morning I had to turn it off after my 3-year-old said powerful as fuck, thanks to the new soundboard sound." So I am very sorry to Christina. I keep forgetting we have adults with their kids watching in the background, or at least listening in the background. So I can't say I'm going to stop pressing the button, and Christina knows that. And, you know, she said it is what it is, but especially because she said her child's inheritance will be in a better situation now that Uncle Amit is teaching her how to curse. But nonetheless, I am sorry that we have had to play that live. It's just, we kind of have to. We kind of have to because it is powerful as fuck when it comes to Palantir. All right, so let's get into it. We have, at least he didn't scream out gay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. She's napping right now. It's fine. Press it. Okay, just for Christina, because her 3-year-old is napping. Palantir has been
powerful as fuck.
It just never gets old. It just never gets old. All right, so let's take a look at what else is going on in the market. I think the first thing we got to start off with to get into it today is Microstrategy has changed their name to Strategy, which, well, I mean, I kind of like it. I don't really hate it. I think it's interesting. I guess that's what people say when they don't really know if they like something or hate something. It's interesting. But MicroStrategy is now called Strategy. Michael Saylor said Strategy is the world's first and largest Bitcoin treasury company. I guess Chad kind of sums up my thoughts. It's still stupid. Yes, it is still kind of stupid. The funny thing about this is, so this is what Michael Saylor tweeted, is that it's Strategy, but there's a B in the corner. So the logo is Strategy with a Bitcoin B. I would have just called it like Bitcoin Strategy or Macro Strategy or something. I don't know, but it's Strategy with a B. So if you're bullish on MicroStrategy, you are now bullish on Strategy. It definitely reminds me of the scene from The Social Network where Justin Timberlake says, drop the on the Facebook, call it just Facebook, which was actually a really good idea. I mean, that was a smart thing. Or Sean Parker, even though he was Justin Timberlake. But Strategy. So whoever's in MicroStrategy now, you are buying Strategy. I wonder if they changed the ticker symbol to STRAT, because it can't be MSTR anymore, right? That just doesn't make any sense. So I would hope they change the ticker. It would actually be kind of cool to see a Strategy ticker, but we're going to see if that ends up happening. Robinhood 5404, Symbiotics up 1.8%, NVIDIA crossing 124, Big Bear AI. Shout out to those that are in this. I think it's having a gamma squeeze. It's up 43%. I am not in this name. I know a lot of you guys have been thinking about this one for the past couple months. If you pulled the trigger, congrats. They did get a DoD prototype contract today. That's why they're getting some momentum. But on top of that, it's 30% short, if I'm not wrong, or 23% short. So if the shorts are covering off of a gamma squeeze based on a DoD contract, then yeah, you're going to get this compiling even more, and you're going to get Big Bear AI up 43%. So that one right now is currently green. We'll talk about Grab in a second. ARM is actually up 5.2%. So let me put the poll in the chat. Which one do you guys think is going to outperform? MicroStrategy, ARM, or Qualcomm? Tends to pump and dump a lot, but then again, I don't know, it's been a while since we got a really big pump that has been sustained by ARM, so maybe earnings is going to be the catalyst to be able to do that. But we're going to see. We're going to see today. And also let me know who owns any of these names, ARM, Qualcomm, or MicroStrategy. I don't know which one I would have to pick in terms of which one pumps more. Hopefully all three don't dump. But yesterday was pretty annoying because AMD and Google, the ones that we wanted to win, dumped, and then Snapchat dumped today. AMD right here, wow, down 6.5%. Did a little bit of a recovery. It was at 106, now it's at 111, so got some green candles. Google kind of did no recovery. I mean, it bottomed at, I guess, 189, now it's at 191. But overall, both of those companies did not get any love. Palantir still holding 100. We got 8 minutes left until the market closes. It looks like we are going to hopefully get a third day in a row of Palantir closing at $100, which is absolutely exceptional. I'll tell you what, the Bears are going crazy on Twitter. The Bears cannot, I know some of you guys are on Twitter, some of you guys aren't, but if you've been on Twitter for at least the past 6 months on Palantir's run from basically 30 to 100, there are people that genuinely lose sleep at night over Palantir. They don't even own it. They don't even own it. And they lose sleep. They lose sleep at night because of the valuation, because of the company, yada, yada. And it's like personal for them anymore. It's not even about being bearish. Because like if you're wrong on a name, you're wrong. Like I was bearish on Netflix. I don't lose sleep overnight on Netflix. Netflix puts me to sleep because I put on something and it is boring and then I fall asleep. Like I don't lose sleep over not buying Netflix at $100 now that it's $1,000. These people are losing sleep. I mean, they are very, very upset about Palantir. The good thing is Palantir doesn't care and it continues to maintain some of its momentum. 140, 100.4 currently right now on Palantir. SMCI also, nice little green day we had right here. It's up 7.8%. The reports were that they are working with NVIDIA's Blackwell chip and they're ramping up the server IT infrastructure needed for that. Again, I have 5 leaps on this for January 2027 for $50. It is a complete gamble. I am hoping that SMCI is able to prove they're not a fraud. And as a result, I think the street will be happy about it. If not, then yeah, we might have some issues with SMCI. So we're going to find out pretty soon kind of how this ends up playing out. And today, we'll see what happens here when it comes to MicroStrategy. We got an update from Austin Goolsby in terms of inflation. We're going to take a listen to that real quick, and then we'll talk about the update I have on Grab. And then we will keep going from there.
News from the Fed, speaking of.
Larger and longer impacting than in 2018 because things about the economy are different, he says, because many U.S. imports, by the way, are intermediate goods. Inflationary impact of tariffs could be more widespread. It's possible, he says, and this is something you guys have talked a lot about, to stack tariffs on top of tariffs as something goes back and forth over the border several times. Supply chains, he says, are more fragile in the short run. And if you want to talk at the end of this about what he says about the increase and the absence of toilet paper during the pandemic, we can have that. But first, let me tell you what he says about tariffs and inflation. One is they can, this question is how much consumers can substitute for a product. Intermediate goods are more difficult to substitute for. Is the easy China substitution, for example, from the impact of 2018, is that gone? And so it's harder to substitute this time around. And did companies diversify their supply chains? And then he talked.
Essentially, Goolsby was saying, look, inflation and supply chain are two things that we do need to think about a lot more. Importantly, core PCE has been stabilizing very well. 2.9 on the headline on CPI has been stabilizing as well. But Goolsby did mention there are some concerns in regards to supply chain bottlenecks that were potentially caused theoretically by Trump's warning about tariffs that could also create some supply shocks, which could hurt inflation. It's a minuscule concern. I don't think it's going to be a concern that lasts for a long time. But that is one update from a Fed president who will make a decision on if we have a rate cut or not going into March. What are the results on the poll real quick? The poll is ARM at 34. Wow, it's 33, 33, 33 on the poll. Huh. I mean, MicroStrategy is winning by 34% right here, just by a smidge, but looks like everyone is kind of equally bullish on all three of these names. Okay, Grab. What happened with Grab? We got about 4 minutes until the market closes. Grab continued to prove to me today why Wall Street makes you not believe in the collective intelligence of humanity. November 2024, JP Morgan says, hey, we like Grab. Free cash flow is going up. We're adjusting our price target from 5 to 570. You should buy it. Today, JP Morgan says we're going from 570 to 560 and you should sell it. Why? I don't know. They raise the price target when it's in the mid fives to 570. And then 3 months later, after a run from 450 to 512, when it is significantly lower than your price target of 570, even if you want to get the new price target of 560, now they say it is time to book profits and sell. I mean, again, this is literally laughable. It is more, it's more of the same with these Palantir analysts like Jeffries, who had it at 28 for the better part of a year and then says, well, now it's worth 60. It's like, did anything change that dramatically for it to go from 28 to 60? No, because it never should have been at 28 in the first place. So the actual reason Grab is down today, and I did buy more Grab options, is because the merger talks that they had yesterday with GoTo are looking like they're going to be not true. I think there's some political reasons why the media is now reporting that those merger talks were fake. I actually kind of still believe those merger talks are very real. But nonetheless, that's a legit reason for Grab to give back their gains if the only reason it was up 12% was because of those rumors. But what is not legit is for JP Morgan to downgrade it by 10 cents when nothing has happened. Now they're not even saying buy it. They're saying sell it. Like it went from a buy to a sell, not even a hold, because their argument is, I mean, I don't know what their argument is. Like, because I don't know how you go from 570 to 560 when there's no earnings, no guidance, like nothing changed in the past, unless there's something I don't know about that the company reported. But it's pretty hilarious. And I think what's happening right now with Grab, and this is the lifestyle of the stock that we went through with Hood and Palantir, is that in the beginning, when no one really understands the story, there's like two analysts with some backbone. When it comes to Grab, it's Evercore that actually like understands the company. They have an $8 price target. I'm not just saying that because their price target's high. I'm saying that because when you read the report, it makes sense why they believe Grab could do better. He's the only one I trust. All the rest of them, I think, are just trying to find ways to bill their clients on more hours to have meetings with them, which means they need to have new research. And in order to have new research, they need to have new controversial ideas. And I guess it's controversial to go from 570 to 560. So I think that's the life cycle we're at when it comes to Grab. And eventually that'll change as the company executes. But right now, the analysts are working overtime to figure out how they can give you a reason to sell it and decrease their price target by 10 cents. Netflix right here at 1,000, up 1.63% on the day. It looks like Hoodie, we got 2 minutes until the close, is going to close above $54. Palantir looks like it's going to close above 101 again. Meta 705, Symbiotic 31, Nvidia, wow, 5% on Nvidia. Looks like it's going for a 125 close. It's got a minute left to see if it can get there, but maybe that ends up happening. Our watch list for today for earnings is going to be Qualcomm, Microstrategy, or should I say strategy now, ARM, and then Symbiotic. Those are the four that we're looking at today. ARM's already up 7%, Symbiotic's up 3%, MSTR is down 3%, and then Qualcomm is up 1.62%. So those are the ones that we're looking at currently right now. SoFi up 1.2%. We got 30 seconds into the close, and we've got Nvidia 124.75. Looks like the bid is coming in. I mean, I expected Nvidia to have somewhat of a good day, given that Google's spending $75 billion on CapEx. Like Broadcom caught a bid. I would imagine Nvidia catches a bid, and it looks like towards the end of the day, Nvidia is catching that bid. Okay, results on the poll. 35% of you now say ARM. It's basically split a third across each stock, but 35% of you are saying ARM would be the biggest beneficiary of today's earnings. Wow, Nvidia's close to 125. She's close. She's 5 cents away. There you go. All right, Wednesday, February 5th, we got a ton of earnings, 4 p.m. The stock market is once again closed. Nvidia closed at 125 on the dot. Do you guys see that? Nvidia closed at 125 on the dot, dude. Wow. Incredible. 124.82 after hours, but 125 on the dot. Palantir, third day in a row. The Bears hate it, but the Bulls have been here for a long time, and we love it. 101.36 on Palantir, down 2% on the day, but still closing above 100, did not give back its 24% gains. And then a Hoodie, for the first time ever since 2021, we have closed above $54. Incredible day for Robinhood. I did buy a little bit more Robinhood earlier in the day at 52, up 3.08% right now. Meta closes at 704. Rocket Lab 2860, basically flat on the day. Grab, nasty day, down 10.76%, basically giving back all the gains it had yesterday. Reddit, I don't know why this stock keeps going up, but it keeps going up 2.72%, 221 on Reddit. SoFi up about 1.3%, 1549. Elf was down another 1.2%. Google was down 6.94%. AMD was down 6.27%. SMCI was up 8% on the day. Let's get into earnings. Do we have numbers yet? Qualcomm's up 1% after hours. Not really a big move yet. Oh, wait, it touched 185. Holy crap. Qualcomm, now it's down. Now it's down. Did it touch 185? Oh, Symbiotic's down. Symbiotic's crashing. 10%. 10% on Symbiotic. There you go. So that's our first one. Symbiotic is red. ARM is up. Qualcomm just went from 185 to 175. Now it's flat. And MSTR is also flat. Symbiotic is the one that's getting hit the worst. Let's see if I can get some of these numbers. Also, Roblox. Yeah, Roblox had a great day. Roblox was up like 5% today, a little bit more. Roblox was up 2.3%, but Roblox has been having a hell of a run since really October, to be honest. When that Hindenburg short report came out, that kind of didn't matter. So Roblox had a great day. ARM right here is up 1%. Qualcomm's now down 1%. Symbiotic's down 10%, and MicroStrategy is basically flat. Let's see if I can get some of these numbers. I think I have ARM. I don't have ARM. I do not have ARM. Amit, what was the covered call on NVIDIA you did this morning? I didn't do a covered call, but we were looking at the 150 on 228, but I didn't end up doing it because I think NVIDIA will come back and I don't want to get stuck in the covered calls, but 150 is not paying a horrible premium. MSTR, now we're green. Qualcomm's red. ARM is actually red. We got a full 3%, so it looks like that's numbers that are not the best. Symbiotic is down 6.2. That's recovering a little bit. Am I saying it wrong? It's symbiotic, not symbiotic. Okay, I'm gonna keep saying symbiotic because of course I'm saying it wrong. You know the name that I can't get wrong? I wish every stock was named like this. ARM. I can't get ARM wrong, right? It's ARM. Like if I got that wrong, then there's just no hope anymore. But at least I can get ARM right. MicroStrategy down 1%. ARM is now down 7%. Oh boy, there she goes. There she goes. ARM is losing an arm and a leg. There you go. Down 7.2% right here. MicroStrategy is also down 1%. I'm trying to get the numbers on these. I think ARM is out. Let me see if I can get it here. The R is silent. Oh my gosh. Imagine it was, bro. I would go crazy. I don't have ARM. Okay, I don't have ARM. What about Qualcomm? ARM should be coming out really soon, though, if it's down 6%. Qualcomm, okay, I think I got it. 11.7 billion versus 10.9. That's a beat. EPS 341 versus 297. That's a beat. Qualcomm beats. Now it's green by like 0.7. So it looks like we got a double beat on Qualcomm. MicroStrategy's flat. ARM is still down 5%. ARM is still down 5%. Let me see if I can get the coverage here on these names today. And then we have Amazon tomorrow. That's going to be another big one. But today we have more of these semis. Okay, I think we got some. What do we have? We have coverage on ARM. All right, here we go. Coverage on ARM. Let's take a look at this. And then we'll keep going.
Licensing its chip designs to smartphone semiconductor companies like Apple, Qualcomm. Management saying in the release they saw a surge in royalty revenue driven by the adoption of their latest architecture. Think of it like a Blueprint V9, which is at a higher price point. The company sees Q4 revenues and earnings also in line with estimates, and that in-line part might be the reason why you're seeing the stock trending in the red right now.
All right, Christina Partsinevelos, thank you. Scott Kroner, I want to get over to you. You got an over.
Okay, so that was what we had on ARM. We have Qualcomm as well right here. Let's take a look at that here.
Yeah, it's another strong quarter for Qualcomm. GAAP EPS, earnings per share at $3.41 on revenues of $11.67 billion. That's the biggest revenue beat since November 2020. Beats driven by their handset, their IoT, as well as their auto business. For Q2, the outlook, the midpoints that they're providing is $2.80 EPS on revenues of $10.6 billion, I should say, both also higher than what the street was anticipating. John and I were just on a call with the CEO and CFO just moments ago, and they said end customer demand in China for premium tier continues to expand, and that the increase in sales was because of demand and not because of pull-through because of tariffs, something that we heard from Intel and their reasoning as to why they saw a sales bump. So maybe a dig at them. And then lastly, when asked about potential auto tariffs, Qualcomm CFO said they have a strong presence globally and they aren't really relying on one market, but it's still early days because shares bumping, pretty much flat right now. Back to you.
bumping around. Very interesting also, Cristiano noting that they now have 100% share in Samsung's Galaxy S25 at the premium tier. So that's helping them as well, in an environment where the premium tier, especially in China, but looked like it might be a bit weaker.
All right, so, I mean, these aren't horrible earnings on Qualcomm and ARM, but stock price is not loving it. MSTR, I don't have their numbers yet. I think it's about to come out. I don't know if they're going to report the numbers via the Bitcoin stuff. Okay, so this is what we got. This is what we got on MSTR. We got a double miss on MSTR. Street wanted 8 cents a share of a loss. They reported $3 a share they lost. Revenue 122, they reported 120, so they missed on the top and the bottom. However, I don't know if their Bitcoin yield has anything to do with how they report. There's no FASB. But I thought FASB was I think FASB is going into effect now, right? Because otherwise it would be tanking dramatically, and that might be the reason the street's protecting it here. I mean, MSTR is flat off these numbers, and these are horrible numbers, but these aren't the real numbers. Next quarter, so it's not into effect. Okay, so I think the street's not tanking it right now, because if the street's expecting you to lose 8 cents a share and you lose by $3 a share, your stock would be down like 20%. The reason that's not happening is because I guess they don't care, given the Bitcoin yield is what's keeping MSTR alive. The $100 million revenue for the $80 billion market cap, correct? That does look crazy, but again, they have a $42 billion in Bitcoin, if I'm not wrong. So the $80 billion compared to the $42 billion in terms of that premium still is aggressive, almost 2x. But the actual core software business does $100 million. I am surprised that MicroStrategy still does $100 million a quarter in software. Like, what company is buying MicroStrategy business intelligence software? Like, this is an old company. I mean, the fact that they're still around selling software services is kind of incredible. But nonetheless, Bitcoin is the broader story for MSTR. ARM right here is down 5.9%. Qualcomm now going green, up 1.36. So you're getting a little bit of green. It did touch 185 for a second, then came back down. SIM, I'm going to try to get the earnings on this one. They are down 11% on the day. Ford had earnings? No one wanted to tell me Ford had earnings today. How did no one tell me about that? Okay, Ford, what do we have on Ford? We have a double beat on Ford. 39 cents versus 32, 51 billion versus 47. Ford stock is down 5%. This is why when people say, like, Tesla's overvalued, it's like, but okay, so what are you going to buy? Ford? Like, really? Ford? I mean, this thing, goodness gracious, bro. Down 5.2% off a double beat. I feel like some people do have still shares in Ford just from like years and years, but there is a dividend there. There is somewhat of a dividend. MicroStrategy says their fourth quarter number of Bitcoins held are 447,000, and their fourth quarter digital assets are now 23.9 billion versus 22.5 expected. I guess those are the earnings that the street cares about a lot more than their actual revenue and EPS. But yes, MicroStrategy is flat. Now, granted, I mean, MicroStrategy is up from like $40 in January last year. So the stock has done incredibly well. It's just, unless Bitcoin moves, we're not going to see any action. Where is Bitcoin, by the way? Bitcoin, 97,000. Bitcoin's kind of just been chilling around 95 to 100 over the past couple of days. Google's down a little bit after hours. NVIDIA closed at 125, down 0.12%. Palantir, 100.87 after hours. Robin at 54.19 after hours. SIM, I'm still trying to get those numbers and see what they're looking like. They are down 12%. Oh, one piece of breaking news I forgot to mention. Google did kill their DEI program. As per the Wall Street Journal, DEI is no longer a thing at Google. They are completely getting rid of the objectives they had around hiring different races and genders, etc. This comes a couple weeks after Meta did the same. Zuckerberg's basically did the same 2 weeks ago. By the way, Dana White gave an inside scoop on how he got to be on the board of Meta because he did a new podcast. I'm going to play that in a bit because that was actually very interesting. But yeah, no more DEI for Google.
Relation to that, 6 cents better than what the street was expecting. Automotive revenue coming in at 44.96 billion. The street was expecting just over 43 billion. Free cash flow of 700 million in the fourth quarter, and adjusted EBIT margin of 4.4%. And then when you look at the three divisions from Ford, you've got a profit for the ICE, the internal combustion engine business, that division posted a profit of $1.58 billion. Another quarterly loss for the electric vehicle business. That was a $1.38 billion loss, about $37,000 per EV sold in the quarter. Commercial vehicles turned a profit of $1.62 billion. And then there's the guidance for 2025. Ford's guidance, a little light of what many people might be expecting an EBIT guide, a profit of between $7 and $8.5 billion in 2025, with free cash flow coming in between $3.5 and $4.5 billion. They still expect to lose money when it comes to electric vehicles, between $5 and $5.5 billion. No mention in the guidance about the potential impact of tariffs. But you can bet we're going to be talking with Ford CEO Jim Farley about that. He's going to be up with us in just a few minutes, guys, to discuss not only the results.
All right. So that's what you got when it comes to Ford. What do you guys think of these earnings? I mean, is anyone happy? Anyone sad? I mean, ARM's now down 5%. MSTR is flat. Qualcomm's up 1.2. Symbiotic 8.4. And then Ford's down 4%. It's kind of boring. Nothing insane. ARM had a great run in the morning, up 7%. So the fact that it's down is kind of predictable as it ran up before it got in. Again, 39 cents versus 34 cents on ARM, and then 983 million versus 948. So they had a double beat, but still are down. Qualcomm as well, double beat, 341 versus 297 on EPS, 11.6 versus 10.9 billion on revenues. And that's it. Also, Costco and Netflix both closing above $1,000 a share. So those two just crushing it. NVIDIA right here down just a little bit after hours. Big Bear AI up another 1% after hours, 45% on the day. Incredible move for Big Bear today. Snapchat as well. Snap is, wow, thank goodness I sold Snapchat in the morning. I sold it at 11.15. It's at 10.63. Holy crap, dude. It's actually lower than what I bought it at. I bought it at 10.80 a week ago. Of course, it gave back its gains. It's Snapchat, of course. So you got Snapchat there, that's down. And then you have Enphase also that got downgraded right here, down 0.38% and then 1.49% during the day. Qualcomm is 175. I'm trying to get some more specifics on Qualcomm and learn a little bit more about the results besides the top and the bottom. Okay, we have a quote from the CEO. Let me read a little bit from this. Got some stuff here. Guys, should we listen to any calls today? Is there any call you guys want to listen to? ARM, Qualcomm, MicroStrategy? I'm pretty indifferent to any of them. So if anyone really feels about a certain one, let me know, and we could listen to them. Again, revenues 11.7 billion, GAAP EPS 283. CEO of Qualcomm says, we are very pleased to have achieved quarterly revenue records, which reflect the strength of our technology, product roadmap, and end customer demand. We are delivering growth across our diversification initiatives and remain committed to executing on our fiscal 2029 targets to achieve 22 billion of non-handset revenues. And they are up 17% on revenues, 23% on EBIT, 15% net income. Not bad, 3.1 billion for the quarter. I mean, that's incredible. And then 15% on earnings per share. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of MicroStrategies. I will do a poll in the chat, but I think everyone here wants MicroStrategy. You guys know Saylor doesn't speak in the call, right? I don't think he does. Saylor, correct me if I'm wrong, but Saylor, he's not the CEO, so someone else does. But we can still do MicroStrategy. I don't think I've ever listened to the call before. Starts at 5 p.m., so we got about 45 minutes. Starts at 5 p.m., so we have about 45 minutes. He speaks? He does? He does speak? You sure? Okay. I don't even know if I should do this. I will do the poll, but it seems like everyone wants MicroStrategy. If he speaks, that's actually going to make it more exciting because I like listening to Saylor. I think he's, I don't always agree with him on everything, but I like the way he conceptualizes the nature of reality and then comes up with a argument to justify his paradigmatic approach to money and Bitcoin. MicroStrategy right here, basically flat, nothing right here. ARM's down 5, Symbiotic's down 9, Ford's down 5, Qualcomm is up 1.7. 1.7%. Yeah, everyone wants MicroStrategy. All right, we'll do MicroStrategy at 5 p.m. We should listen to the Palantir call again. Dude, I wouldn't mind doing that. I mean, like, that call is hype, bro. The ontology explanation was just so good, dude. Like, I still have my Palantir daily video to recap earnings. That'll probably be out later today around 7:30 Eastern. So it'll be a full recap on the results. And yeah, they had a great earnings call. It's harder to not harder to be impressed by all these other guys when these guys have these types of earnings calls. We do have an update right here on Palantir. Iliano just tweeted this. Check out the co-branded Palantir and Hertz ad in the official Super Bowl program. Wow. Palantir's putting some marketing dollars near the Super Bowl. Get on the road faster. Hertz is using Palantir's AI software to accelerate customer experience. The journey is in your hands. There you go. There you go. Amazon's going to be tomorrow, guys. Amazon is not today. Amazon is going to be tomorrow. So you got a new Palantir Hertz. I don't think this is going to be literally played during the Super Bowl, but it's probably going to be part of the Super Bowl in some way. And you got Palantir and Hertz working together. Palantir and Hertz started working together back in 2022. So they've been both cooperating and strategically collaborating for the better part of 2 years now. All right, I think that's what we got for earnings. That's pretty much it. Baba right here is down 3% of the day. Costco again was up. Bitcoin 97. Grindr was at $18 today. Google at 193. Again, down 7%. SMCI up another 1% after hours. Is Nvidia up after hours? Nvidia, wow, Nvidia's moving after hours. Hold on. Nvidia's moving after hours. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of love. Dude, am I almost break even on Nvidia? Where are we at on Nvidia? My average is, yeah, dude, I'm up on Nvidia. $51. I'm up. All right, time to sell. No, I'm just kidding. We are going down with the ship or going up, hopefully, with Nvidia. But yeah, 125.15. There you go. Hopefully 125 is the new normal for Nvidia. Does Grab share a threat from FSD in your opinion? No. I mean, this is I keep getting this question, and I can't believe I get this question. Has anyone looked at any part of Southeast Asia? Like we barely have FSD in America. Elon said it's coming in one city in June for Austin, and people are thinking Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia are going to have self-driving cars. Like, no, there's not a threat. It's not even a question of a threat. So that is not something that concerns me, not one bit. That is a bit concerning for Uber, which is not in Southeast Asia. They are in more developed. I mean, they're in a lot of other parts of the world, but their biggest market is North America, Canada, Europe, etc. And that's where the threat of FSD is real. And even that threat is far away, right? It's just the perception is hurting the stock, which is why Uber was down 7.5% today, even with good earnings. But with Grab, that's just not a concern. It's just not a concern at all for me. SMCI Mitt, what are your thoughts? My thoughts are simple. If the company is not a fraud, I think this easily goes back to 40, 45. I mean, it is cheap when you look at all their metrics at an $18 billion market cap growing the way they are. Their gross margins suck, but still they're growing phenomenally. And NVIDIA Blackwell demand should take this much higher in terms of their server demand. So I think SMCI should be fine if they're not a fraud. And we'll find out in a week. Netflix right here, 1,000 after hours. Palantir down just a little bit at 195. Next Decade had a good day, up 2.38%. And then Rocket Lab down about 0.28% on the day right now. Cool. Okay, so that's what we got for earnings. In about 45 minutes, we're gonna have Ford, or not Ford. We're gonna have MicroStrategy. But outside of that, that's pretty much it for earnings. There you go. Tesla sales in Germany were bad today. Tesla sales in Germany were very bad, down 59%. Was not a good day for Tesla in Germany. Oh, that's we didn't even talk about Tesla, dude. That's probably, I was very close to pulling the trigger on Tesla and buying some, to be honest. 378 right here. I mean, I don't know, dude. It's getting a little dicey right here. I guess the Germany headline is what took it down today, down 3.58%. But then again, it's always so funny to me when automotive headlines take it down, because it's like, it's Tesla. Like, of course, the automotive headlines don't matter unless you think it does matter. So that one did get a little bit of a hit right here, down 3%. ARM numbers were good. They had a beat on the top and the bottom, but Street doesn't care too much. Also, again, it was up 7% going into the print. Same thing with Google, dude. When these stocks are up so much sometimes going into the print, unless you're a Palantir, dude, it's very... unless you're a Palantir, it's hard to be trading at all-time highs going into the print, because you really need a good earnings to continue taking it higher. Can you argue from both sides of why SMCI is and is not a fraud? Okay, so it's simple. The reason they're a fraud is because they didn't file their 10K on time, and it took them 2 months to file it. That to me is very weird. The other argument is that Ernst & Young resigned voluntarily, and they basically said, we think SMCI is cooking their books and we don't want to be here. Red flag, red flag, red flag. Green flag is now they filed their forms. They reported when they're going to do earnings. And then the other green flag is they had another major auditing firm, consulting firm. I think BDO is their name. Top 5 in the country that took them on as a client. So when you weigh those two, that's what I'm saying. It's literally a gamble. It's 50-50 in my opinion. Now there's some SMCI bulls that think it's like 90-10 that they're good. I say it's more 50-50, but that's the bull and the bear case on SMCI. Bitcoin right here. Where are we at on Bitcoin? 97.3. Currently right now, is MSTR moving at all? MSTR is green after hours. MSTR is actually green after hours. You guys all voted for the MSTR call, so we will definitely do MSTR. But overall earnings, nothing too crazy or different for them. Let's listen to Ed Yardeni. We haven't listened to him in a while. Let's get his thoughts on kind of what's going on in the market. And then we'll keep going from there. Also, put your buys and sells in the chat. I got Krupa right here saying she bought Hood, Grab, AMD, and Riot today. I bought Hood and NVIDIA today. Also, I closed out my NVIDIA puts. So I had 110 puts. I was up like 10% on them. I closed them out, got that collateral back, and I'll redeploy it if necessary. But I had a month left on the contract. NVIDIA's at 125. Strike was at 110, so I thought might as well just close them out right now. Hayden, thank you for the $10 super chat. Have you checked in on Ginkgo recently? The stock has been running in the last 3 months. I'm finally buying all the dip. I've been buying up the dip all year. I have not checked on Ginkgo in a while. I used to like this stock a couple of years ago, just from a sort of philosophical perspective in terms of what they were doing with synthetic biology. Now I just don't care too much about it. It's had a good year, up 60% year to date. They went through a ton of reverse splits and a bunch of different financial issues. But yeah, I mean, if you bought it during the year, it's done very well. I just think when their biosecurity revenue fell off a cliff because the pandemic wasn't happening anymore, which was like 70% of the revenues back in 2022, that's when I realized the thesis is kind of dead for the short term. I haven't looked at it in a long time though, so I could be wrong. And then the insider selling, I was just not a fan of. Like usually I don't care about insider selling, but these guys cashed out and when the stock was at all-time lows. And that to me was just like weird. So haven't looked at it in a while, but it does look like it's had a bit of a recovery here this year. Okay, let's listen to Ed Yardeni, get his thoughts, and then we'll keep going from there.
Yardeni is president of Yardeni Research, back with us once again. It's always good to have you.
Thank you.
I mean, we've had some head-spinning action already this week. What do you make of what the market did and how it's recovered and what it all means from what happens next?
You're right. You almost need a neck brace to watch this market. But I think what happens next is the bull market moves on. I think it's going to widen out to the S&P 493. I kind of view all companies as tech companies. You either make it or you use it. But within the context of a broadening market, in terms of sectors, I really like the financials. I think the financials still have more upside, not only in the large cap, but especially in the mid cap area. The economy is doing well. The credit system remains very viable. So that's kind of my thinking of where we're going up ahead here.
Is that why the market, may freak out for a minute on a tariff headline, but then enables itself at some point, whether it's during that day or the following, to keep its eye on the prize? Why we've been bullish as a investor class in general about what we think lies ahead?
Yeah, I think, they say that watching laws being made is kind of like watching sausage being made. You really don't want to see it. And maybe that's the same thing with tariffs. It's too visible here. And there's a lot of negotiating going on. And we start out on Monday with the market being freaked out. And by late in the afternoon, Mexico gives Trump something and he says, okay, we'll postpone things. So it's a negotiating game. And I'm not sure it's really all about tariffs per se. It's not just a tariff war. It's a war over national security, a war over drugs. There are a lot of issues involved here. And the market's saying, well, what does this really have to do with us? The economy is doing well. Earnings are coming in fine. We can get excited about AI. And so I think the market's finding some resilience here in the face of some pretty volatile data.
Sure, but I mean, lasting and steep tariffs could have an impact not only on inflation, but on economic growth.
Absolutely. But I think the market is coming around to a view I have, which is that this too shall pass. I don't think the United States or the people sitting on the other side of the table really want to go into a tariff war situation. I think you mentioned before that even China has kind of held back on the amount of retaliation. They want to make a deal. And so I think that's what's going on here. And the market increasingly is focusing on what's important, and that is earnings. And the earnings outlook is, I think, extremely good.
It's really good. Earnings outlook is really good. And that's what we've been talking about for the past, really for the past 3 months on the show, and also the past 3 weeks when it comes to earnings. Earnings outlook has been relatively strong, if not pretty exceptional for some of these names. Headline from Ford: for every electric vehicle Ford sells, it loses $37,000. That definitely will make the stock a little bit more volatile. But then again, EVs are not their future, even though they still are working on EVs. Qualcomm just went red, down 4%. ARM's down 4%. Microstrategy is actually up. Symbiotic down 11.2%. And then Ford right here down 5%. I still haven't found Symbiotic's numbers. Give me a second. I think I should be able to get those. But Qualcomm just went red. I don't know if their earnings call just started, but they officially went red. They officially went red. Here's the update on Google with the diversity stuff, and I'll be trying to find the Symbiotic numbers in the meantime.
Toward the sideline.
Reviewing some of its DEI programs. In a statement, the company says, we're committed to creating a workplace where all our employees can succeed and have equal opportunities. And over the last year, we've been reviewing our programs designed to help us get there. We've updated our 10K language to reflect this. And as a federal contractor, our teams are also evaluating changes required following recent court decisions and executive orders on this topic. Now here, Google joins other tech giants like Meta and Amazon that are also rethinking their approach to DEI. This is particularly interesting, though, coming from Google, because it's historically seen as the most, value-driven of the mega caps. And it comes just a day after they dropped their promise to not use AI for weapons, suggesting that Google's culture here is changing, and at least part of it has to do with the new Trump administration stance on DEI. Back to you.
Deirdre Bosa, thank you. Well, Ford shares falling despite an earnings beat.
So that's the Google headline. I have Sim's numbers right here. I believe it's a beat, if I'm not wrong, even though the stock is getting hit. Revenue of $487 million, net loss of $19 million, so they aren't profitable yet. Adjusted EBIT of $18 million, so that's positive. Second quarter, Symbiotic expects revenue of $510 to $530 million, and again, adjusted positive EBITDA of 26 to 30. CEO says, in the first quarter, we continue to deliver high growth while enhancing our technology position. With our recent acquisition of Walmart's advanced systems and robotics business now completed, we look forward to enhancing an already strong position to drive exceptional results for our stakeholders. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay, so that's the update from Sim. Now, we also have another update from Brett Adcock at Figure. Again, the big headline yesterday was that his company's working relationship with OpenAI ended. And to me, it proved that for some reason, people are not trusting Sam Altman. And it just goes to continue to show there's an issue with Sam Altman. But he further said today, we can't outsource AI for the same reason we don't outcome actuators, which are a critical piece of technology that you need in the robot. It's too critical for performance. LLMs are getting smarter, yet more commoditized. Again, another CEO saying it's not really the value when it comes to LLMs. For us, LLMs have quickly become the smallest piece of the puzzle. The much harder part is designing new AI models that allow for high-rate robot controls, aka robots working in the real world. The fact that he's saying LLMs are the smallest piece of the puzzle to solve a multi-trillion-dollar industry problem is pretty incredible, given LLMs were the biggest part of the problem 3 years ago. Figure's AI models are built entirely in-house, making external AI partnerships not just cumbersome, but ultimately irrelevant to our success. I'll share more soon about our hardware plus AI strategy, as most in robotics are betting too much on one side and treating the other as a commodity. This comes after Alex Karp also told us on Monday that the LLMs are becoming incredibly commoditized and they're not important. Qualcomm now down 3% here. It seems like the industry is waking up. Seems like the entire industry is waking up to the fact that all of this is replicatable. All of this is going to get really good at the same time. It's not like GPT is going to be better than Gemini or that much better than Gemini. And the implementation and use case of it, whether it's in Airbus or BP or in the NHS or in a robot, is where the value is, not the LLM itself. Yeah, and that's why NVIDIA as well with CUDA, right? There are so many different ways where software is getting more of the benefit here than hardware itself, even though hardware is necessary for the software, but the LLMs are not the rising star. NVIDIA right here down just a little bit after hours, 124.60. Who cares about a chatbot? Correct. I mean, who cares about a chatbot at the end of the day? Okay, let's listen to the Ford CEO. He's live. Let's see what he's got to say. Again, Ford is losing $37,000 for every EV that they sell. That is not sustainable. Let's see what Jim Farley has to say.
Jim, you beat on the top and the bottom line in the fourth quarter, but your guidance for 2025, that may be where the pressure is coming from. You're forecasting a drop in the full year profit as well as free cash flow and within your divisions. Why the guidance there that is a little cautionary?
We think it's prudent. There's a lot of external factors, as you know, Phil, but our future is really in our hands. We have this cost opportunity at the company that we've talked to you about, and that's really where our focus is.
When you look at what's happening with the potential for tariffs, I mean, you guys dodged a bullet with the Canadian and the Mexican tariffs being at least postponed for 30 days. But have you conveyed to President Trump personally how much this would hurt Ford and relative to foreign automakers in this country?
Well, look, Phil, as you said, if this persists, this tariff persisted with Mexico and Canada, it would mean billions of losses for the domestic car industry, huge impact for jobs in the U.S. And the administration knows that, as well as congressional leaders. They know that Ford is the most American car company. We produce the most. And they have committed to us to strengthen our industry and not weaken it. So we expect them to work through these policy ins and outs. As far as tariffs are concerned, you know, we want a comprehensive policy, not just towards Mexico and Canada. We understand all the pressures on the border and with drugs, but the reality is, you know, Hyundai, Kia, and Toyota can import millions of vehicles through South Korea and Japan without these tariffs. We need a comprehensive look at such a tariff change.
Jim, it's Morgan. It's great to have you on the show. It's not just Mexico and Canada either. It is rising trade tensions between the U.S. and China. You have a China business for China, but also export out of there as well. You've also talked about the quote unquote existential threat of Chinese EVs on the global stage. How are you gaming out business in China and those trade dynamics where that country is concerned?
Well, first of all, thank you for the question. You know, we were profitable in China. We decided a couple of years ago, we saw this price war coming in China, and we went to a low capital strategy with export into some of our international markets. We now made almost $1 billion in China, and actually the leader of that business is now going to be leading our whole international group. Look, those are very fit companies, BYD, et cetera. They're in a price war now in their home market, but that fitness is going to show up on our doorstep quickly here around the globe. And it's on us to be fully competitive with the Chinese on cost. You know, they get a lot of subsidies from the government, so we have to work with our government to make sure it's a fair playing field. We're confident that we can do that with the new administration and congressional leaders, but this is a competitive threat we have never seen in the auto industry.
Jim, it's John Ford. I want to ask you more specifically about costs. You just got through these negotiations with the United Auto Workers. There's some more labor costs there. Certainly, there's the potential of some really uncertain costs in the supply chain with tariffs. How does that affect your cost reduction strategy? Where do you think the Trump administration can help you on the cost line?
Well, that's a great point. First of all, our future's in our hands, as I said. So there are a lot of costs coming into the business, but we still have lots of levers to pull. Where the administration can help us is matching kind of the CO2 requirements for our fleet versus what customers are willing to buy. Right now, the price war in EVs is largely led because OEMs are, you know, selling these EVs and they're reducing the price to cover the volume so they can, you know, they don't have to buy credits for CO2 so they can sell the profitable vehicles like our F-150. And we're getting a lot of artificial pressure in the market on pricing because of EVs. So how the administration can really help us is have a good policy a policy around tariffs, as well as really smooth transition for what we're going to do on tax around EVs. But most of all, it's going to be that CO2 policy for the EPA as well as the ZEV states in California.
I don't know. I said this last time on Ford's earnings. I don't know why people still buy Ford. I guess it's the dividend. I know, you know, people have been invested in this company for a long time, but Like this, I don't know. There's just, you get a 6% yield, I guess, and there's no option premiums here, so it's hard to wheel it. But there's just nothing inspiring about this name. I mean, it creates a great American cars. It's just not the future. Nonetheless, here we are on Ford, 955, down 4% after hours. It'll probably go back up to 10 and then just hover around 950 to 10 for a long time. Even though, I mean, if you have a lot of money, you want something super safe with a 6% dividend, I wouldn't say Ford is super safe, but it's definitely not super risky, given it's a bit more sustainable than not. It's just not the type of growth that you see from some of these other auto companies, especially like Tesla. Ford was at 38.79 in 1994. It was at 37 again in 1999, got to a low of 7 cents or 73 cents back in 2008. And it peaked in 2021. That's how crazy 2021 was, bro. Every time people try to compare 2021 to now, it's like Ford was at $20 in 2021, which it probably shouldn't have been at. Now it's here at $10 right now. Thoughts on ELF 52-week low? Again, I really love ELF, the company. And by the way, guys, we'll listen to Microstrategy in about 23 minutes. So we got about 20 minutes and then we'll get into MSTR. I love ELF, the company. I love the management. I don't know enough about the makeup industry. Estee Lauder is the reason why it's down right now at 87. They have earnings tomorrow and maybe that changes the sentiment. They also have China headwinds. So I think Chris Camillo is short this name, if I'm not wrong too. Like he's short a bunch of things in China, especially in the retail space. So I know he definitely doesn't like Nike, if I'm not wrong. Nike right here, 74.57. It was down 3%. I still have no idea why Bill Ackman is so deep into his name. By the way, when are 13Fs coming out, bro? When are we going to get some updates on what these big hedge fund dudes are buying? Yeah, they're not. I think it's going to be another 2 weeks or something, but they haven't been updated for a while. And we should get to see what Buffett and Ackman has been buying as well. We also got a call on Robinhood today. Let me pull that up real quick. I think we got this from Bryn here this morning.
Put a break yet. I want the camera shot on Joe individually too.
Okay, put it on me.
Can we please do that?
At Robinhood? Is he throwing shade at Robinhood? So like Palantir last year, I think that Robinhood is.
Wow, Bryn is making the Palantir Robinhood comparison. Yo, I love Bryn. I'm gonna try to get her on the show. She responded to one of my tweets a couple days ago, and she's been reading the content. I didn't even know she was following me on Twitter. I followed her back immediately. So I'm gonna try to get her on the show, dude. She's been awesome, but she's making the Palantir Robinhood comparison here.
Under-owned and under-followed by analysts. So the Raymond James analyst initiated coverage, right? He initiated coverage. He wants to follow it. It's a neutral for him. But this company is at the crossroads of equity investing, options, and crypto. And I think this company's going to continue to get stronger and stronger. Their earnings come out in 7 days. I think they're going to blow it out of the doors. And so I think this is a stock to continue to watch and a company that's going to continue to gain market share, not only from a Coinbase, but also from the traditional custodians.
All right, thanks for that.
So I didn't know, as big of a Robinhood bull as I am, that Raymond James initiated coverage. Maybe that's the reason this thing gapped up to 54 today. But it looks like that's the case. So let me try to find that initiation. Yeah, they initiated not with a buy, market perform, so they're neutral on it. What's their price target? What did Raymond James give them? Oh, they didn't give them a price target. That's weird. They just said they just initiated coverage, but they didn't give a price target. Okay, so we didn't really get much from that. Here's what they said. Yeah, they didn't give a price target, but I guess they initiated coverage. I don't know, you can initiate coverage without giving a price target, but they said disruptive impact, pioneered no commission trades, simple and intuitive trading interface drove massive adoption, growth and momentum, new account and deposited growth accelerating, trading volumes have markedly improved, future expansion, expanding product and service offerings, ambitious growth agenda in place, evaluation concerns, requires underwriting high transaction volumes and stable interest rates, client trading activity remains volatile, especially in crypto. Near-term outlook, fourth quarter 2024 results expected to be strong, supporting stock strength, risk reward not compelling at current levels. And analyst sentiment recognizes Robinhood's disruptive model, but cautious on sustainability of growth. All right. That's what you got from Raymond James on Hood. I didn't even realize that today. That's probably the reason why Hood got a little bit of a pump today, because we were all wondering, why did Hood move to 54, especially after the fact that the CFTC stopped them from doing contracts on the Super Bowl, which came out yesterday. And Robinhood just put out a statement saying they're deeply disappointed in the CFTC's decision. But I guess maybe Raymond James is why they went up today. It sounds like a hold. Yeah, it's basically a hold. I mean, it's not a buy. It's not a sell. It's more of a hold. Why is Qualcomm falling? I have no idea. I guess the call is not going that well, but it was down 3%. It's not that crazy. ARM is down 5%. Symbiotic down 15%. That one definitely is having some issues in their call right here, even though they beat on the top and the bottom. Ford down 5%. And then Microstrategy, ironically, MSTR, the only one that's green. MSTR is the only one that is green. AMD, let me know if you bought the dip today on AMD. I mean, it was down 7%, recovered a little bit towards the end of the day. I think it bottomed at 106.5. Volume was 110 million shares for AMD. So definitely was an aggressive day. What was the volume on Google? Google was 70 million shares. So AMD had more shares traded than Google today. But still, AMD down 7%. Oh, HIMS. Yeah, I forgot about HIMS, dude. That had a crazy day as well. It's up 74% year to date. Look at that. Closed at basically all-time highs, 42.20, up 0.84%. When do you recommend adding more grab? I mean, look, I like it at this price. And the reason I like it at this price is because it's trading at 30% cash. Does it mean it can't go lower? No. It could, if Q4 sucks, it could go back into the fours. I just think with the level of cash they have on the balance sheet, this is the time when you at least begin a position and then you DCA further. But it could definitely go lower. It's really up to Q4. And we'll find out February 19th what that earnings looks like as well. Strategy is a new Bitcoin tracker on the website. They have the domain name now, strategy.com. If you guys don't know MicroStrategy, he is, or it's Michael Saylor, he is pretty infamous for owning domain names. He owns hope.com and a bunch of these other domain names that he bought in the 90s that are worth a lot more money right now. So they got strategy.com. I wonder if they own that or if they have to pay that. I would imagine they have to pay that. But this is their sort of tracker right here on Bitcoin. It tells you the stock price. And, well, this is on the stock price itself. If we click on Bitcoin, it gives you their Bitcoin count, their net asset value, their Bitcoin gain year to date, their yield, which is 2.9%, and then the price of Bitcoin. This is actually pretty clean. This is like really clean for anyone who wants a update immediately. Micro earnings have come out. They missed on the top and the bottom, but the street doesn't care because it's not really about their earnings. It's more so about their Bitcoin yield. But yeah, the street wanted 8 cents. They had $3 of a loss, and they missed by like 2 million on revenue. Hi, Mitt. What are your thoughts on SoFi? I like SoFi. I have my options that I'm not selling, even though I'm up like 400% on them, because if SoFi goes to 20, I'll be up 1,400%. So I have no plan to sell the SoFi options. I have 200 shares that I bought at 17. There are SoFi's at 15 right now, so down a little bit on those shares. I mean, look, my broader thesis on SoFi is just, I don't think they're a product company. And I'm happy I took a gamble on them when they were at 7. And I do think they will get to 20 by the end of the year. And I think that gamble will pay off in terms of the spread I have on it. But I just can't see myself seriously investing a heavy position in this company when you got something like Robinhood that's doing what they're doing, And quite frankly, it also has to do with Nodo, dude. I just there's not enough energy from Nodo to make me excited. And you could say that's a bad reason to be bearish, even though I'm not bearish. It's just it's a reason to not get more excited. And sometimes a reason to not be excited is also a reason to not invest, even if you're not necessarily bearish. So I think from a fintech financial services perspective, it's just not that exciting. It's a good bank. It's a fast growing bank, but outside of that, it's not that interesting. Now, the loan platform, if that takes off where they don't have to have any risk on their balance sheet and Nodo can get $10 to $20 billion of loans that are not really loans onto the loan platform, I think that could be very exciting. That kind of puts you in like the upstart valuation metric type of paradigm. But it's either that or the tech platform. It's one or the other, and the tech platform is not working. So it has to be the loan platform. But the loan platform is just not that interesting right now. SWKS is down 25%. Skyworks Solution. This is a $14 billion company. I don't know what they do. What is Skyworks Solutions? American Semiconductor Company. Oh, they're a semi? Did you guys know this one? SWKS? What the hell do they do? SWKS. Skyworks Solution. phone chips. Why they're down a lot, bro? How bad was the miss? 23%. Do we have any coverage on this one? Let me see. Skyworks. I feel like I've seen this name a while ago, but I never paid too much attention to it. It doesn't compete with Micron, right? It's not in the memory space, I don't think. Let me check right here. Skyworks. Yeah, this hasn't even been on the watch list. It's a Jeremy stock. When did he start liking this one? They beat on EPS, they missed on revenue, but down 30% has to be something worse than revenue. 160 versus 157, 1.06 versus, yeah, they barely missed on revenue. Dude, like literally it's like less than a couple $1 million. So this has to be something around guidance. They sell motion sensors to Apple. It's not a small company, 14 billion. I mean, it's not like it's a small cap or anything or like a penny stock. 14 billion, volume was 4 million shares today, down 22%, 87 to 68 here right now. How do you not know Skyworks? No, I had no idea, dude. I had no idea what Skyworks was. Absolutely no idea. All right. Well, that one, not the best earnings today, I guess, for them either. Say it, admit. It's a Massachusetts company. Why do you make me do this, Eric? Why do you are they Massachusetts? No, they're in Irvine, California. They're not even in Massachusetts, bro. They're in freaking Irvine. Oh boy, Skyworks right here, down 22%. We've got Microstrategy coming up pretty soon in about 13 minutes. We have the spec portfolio. How are they doing today? SoundHound up 1%. Archer was down. Big Bear AI, the big one today, up 44%. Oklo was also up 7%. Rigetti was up 1%. Qubit was up 0.2%. IONQ up 1%. And D-Wave was up 8%. So Quantum, still not a horrible day. I mean, they're not bleeding like they were a couple weeks ago. MicroStrategy down 3% of the day. And then Big Bear had the best day, up 40%. Pretty happy with Netflix and Crowd today. Yeah, CrowdStrike crushed it. I mean, these guys continue to just be amazing. Wow, 417. That's all-time highs on CrowdStrike. Stock was 190 August 5th, and CrowdStrike's premium 823 PE compared to Palantir's 500 PE. I mean, people will pay a premium when you have some decent growth there. So CrowdStrike 417, and then Netflix as well closing above 1,000 a share. 1,011 here right now. Amit, make Honest go back up. Dude, I haven't seen Honest in so long. Honest is at 627. It pumped last year though, right? Honest pumped from like $3 to $6. Yeah, it pumped from 3 to 6. So it's up 120%. Year to date, it is down 8%. Yeah, I don't know much about Honest, to be honest. Don't know much about Honest. Amit, can you expand any more on the Galileo issue that the tech platform is underperforming on SoFi? The issue isn't Galileo as a B2B payments API platform. The problem is SoFi's execution on getting a ton of deals for people to buy Galileo, right? Now, remember, they bought this company for $1.2 billion back in 2020, right? Like, they spent $1 billion on Galileo. Why do I know this? Because I've been following SoFi. You know, I'm not just talking about out of my ass here. Like, I actually have studied SoFi for the past couple of years. I don't know everything about it, but they bought a tech company for $1 billion, and they haven't really gotten the ROI from it. And Noto pitched it as the AWS of fintech going into the IPO with our good friend Chamath, and it didn't end up becoming the AWS of fintech. I mean, and it's just, in hindsight, it seems so obvious. Like, yeah, this company that is focused on student loans, that doesn't have a founder running it, that gets some suit from Goldman Sachs to be the CEO, acquires a tech platform that they're going to somehow integrate when it's not a B2B company, it's a B2C company. They give out loans to people. Like, so to go B2B and to try to make it this multifaceted hybrid company that it has a tech multiple on it, like it's all hodgepodge, to be honest. Now, their execution has been decent on the banking side, which is why the stock is up from $6. But the idea that that would be a tech company that could scale dramatically and like be relevant in technology, where you have to really show growth to even be getting a chance to have your stock reflect that growth, it's hard to believe that. So I'm not a bear. I'm not a bear on SoFi. I have my SoFi. Otherwise, I would take my 18 grand that I'm up right now in SoFi and put it somewhere else. I think SoFi will go up by the end of the year to 2025. It's just not something I feel comfortable holding, with a lot of my money in long term. Matthias says AWS is the AWS of finance. Yeah, I mean, there's an argument. There's an argument that AWS already can add so many layers to these banks that need a tech platform to operate. You're basically saying it's a bank over a tech stock. Yes. And then that and I think that has to be the best explanation, because that's why it's not getting a tech multiple. It would get a tech multiple if there was tech growth. There is no tech growth. Now, can that tech growth happen? Absolutely. It can. And I think all the SoFi bulls have been waiting for it to happen. But every time Noto gets on these earnings calls, it sounds like the most boring call ever, zero excitement. And then there's no real guidance on actually expanding the tech platform. And it's just a totally different vibe from companies like Palantir and Robinhood. And I think that's the difference here. However, I still think SoFi is 25 by the end of the year. I still think we get there, even if it doesn't have this crazy tech part of it. All right, we got MicroStrategy in 9 minutes. I think it's a video call because I just signed up to a Zoom webinar. So I do think it'll be video. They're really making me open up Zoom to get here. All right, so hopefully the audio and everything works really well, but in about 8 minutes, we'll see that. Are people using a bit in the chat to launch a short attack on SoFi? They don't need to use me. SoFi is already 12% short, so the shorts have plenty of ammo and room to keep shorting it. What options do you have on SoFi? It's a $15, $20 spread. So I bought the 15 long, sold the $20 short for January 2026, which means if SoFi is at least above 15, it's good, but really above 20 would make it very valuable for me. Do you still own SMCI? Yes, I have the calls going into earnings. Where's NVIDIA right now? 124.2 after hours. Okay, let me see some other headlines, because there were other things that we didn't talk about today. We talked about Ford, obviously, with the earnings and the EV loss per car, 37,000, not the best. Secretary Scott Bessent said today Trump wants lower interest rates. He also said a failure to get a tax bill done will result in the largest tax hike in history. So Bessent right here is warning that we definitely need to extend the 2017 tax cuts that we had. Google killed their DEI. We talked about that. Oh, wow. Forever 21 is considering filing for bankruptcy after exiting its last Chapter 11 roughly 5 years ago. Does anyone shop at Forever 21 anymore? That used to be a popular store when like Katy Perry was like releasing music consistently like 10 years ago, but I don't think people go there that much anymore. Amazon's going to be unveiling their Alexa AI revamp later this month. Amazon has scheduled a late February media event to introduce its long-awaited generative AI upgrade to Alexa. Okay, so seems like Alexa is going to be able to be more intelligent, I guess. And then, here's a headline. TikTok's Chinese owner seems to be dragging out sale negotiations while waiting for approval from the Chinese government. Trump did say he wants to put TikTok in the sovereign wealth fund. So it looks like if they can get a deal on that, which maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, that would be important for. That would be important essentially for, what was I even saying? Sorry, I got a text message. My girlfriend's complaining about something stupid right now. That would be important for, see, I even lost my train of thought. What was I saying? That would be important for going into the sovereign wealth fund. Is that TikTok needs to sell itself to the United States. So the CCP needs to confirm it. That would be important. NVIDIA did close at 125. Now it's at 124.20. I keep telling you guys, dude, every time I say it, you guys don't believe me. I don't know why you don't want to believe me. I don't know how many times I have to say it, bro. You can choose to believe me or choose not to, but it is what it is. Oh my gosh. This is great. Dude, how do all the comments like unilaterally just go on this one topic? Because I said that. That's mean, bro. That is mean. Oh, do we have AMD? Do we have a Lisa Su interview? No, we don't have Lisa Su. I thought she was on today. That would have been nice to hear from her a little bit. All right, we got MicroStrategy in 4 minutes. We got MicroStrategy in 4 minutes. And then we will see. You mispronounced boyfriend. Oh my gosh, dude. You know what I realized during the stream? I need to be on Do Not Disturb. Because during the stream, I will get like messages and phone calls, and I'm like, I cannot focus on trying to answer this stuff while I'm streaming. So every time my phone's not on Do Not Disturb, it just annoys me because I'm streaming and I see a notification. And then I'm like, I can't look at this notification. Like I have no idea how to answer this right now. So Do Not Disturb is a lifesaver when we're streaming. Okay, let's get a little update on Google, and then we got MicroStrategy in about 4 minutes.
Whether Alphabet can afford it, whether in fact they're going to get a proper return on that investment, whether this is going to have to keep ramping higher in future years. Those are legitimate questions I think investors are asking. But what this chart shows is that S&P 500 big tech companies in aggregate can absolutely afford to pay out these massive tens of billions of dollars per year in CapEx and research and development out of their cash holdings or operating cash flow. This shows that metric, this CapEx relative to operating cash flow, and then if you add in R&D, that's the upper line. Today versus back in the late 90s. Back then, it was between 100 and 120% of operating cash flow. That's what the build out of the internet and broadband networks and things were happening at that kind of financial risk. Obviously, you had to raise more equity and debt capital to finance that out of, they couldn't do it with their income. Right now, pretty manageable. I do think you have to keep an eye on the buyback rates. Microsoft, for one, has really slowed its share repurchases in the last year or so. Obviously, it's got a lot of obligations, but this at least means systemically there's not a ton of financial risk and leverage in this entire theme.
All right. They appear to be good for it. Mike Santoli, thank you.
Exactly.
Well, Qualcomm's analyst call set to start in less than 10 minutes from now. We're going to bring you any headlines as soon as they cross.
All right. Google's good for 75, which I hope they are good for. I mean, they are good. They have tons of free cash flow. Dude, Google did $380 billion of revenue last year. It's crazy. Insane. But they're going to keep spending. NVIDIA's going to get some of that money. Broadcom's going to get some of that money. VST, VRT are going to get some of that money. The whole data center ecosystem is going to benefit from Google spending $75 billion, along with MSTR spending, or not MSTR, Microsoft spending $80 billion. So that was the best thing we heard yesterday, bro. Because if Google said they were spending like $40 billion, that would have been an issue. So it's nice to see they are spending. Can you let us know how much EPS should Hood get to beat the earnings? Hood should get, we're going to do a full Hood earnings preview on Saturday, guys. So we'll go through all the numbers, probably like 9 p.m. on Saturday. But Hood needs to get 52 cents a share. Wow, these mother effers. These mother effers. I'm sorry, Christina, if you're still in the chat. I hope the daughter is still sleeping. They raised the earning estimates again, dude. This was 930 million yesterday. Why did they raise it by 8 million? Like, they can't keep raising it, bro. They're making it. I mean, I think Hood's going to beat, but still, like, every single time, you can't keep raising the estimates. Because what if Hood misses by a couple million? Then this stock's going to go down 20% like it did in October. I mean, they're making it pretty annoying for Hood, dude. I'm pretty sure they're going to beat. I think they're going to come close to 950, but how do you raise it like a week before earnings? Like, isn't there a quiet period where like your expectations are in and it's done? Yeah, they can't keep getting away with this, bro. It went from 650 to 820 to 880 to 910 to 930. I was like, all right, we're done at 930, right? We're done. And now it's at 938 million. Continuing to raise the expectations. All right, MSTR should be starting soon. It's not live yet. Where's MSTR? Is the stock up? The stock.
Recording in progress.
Okay, here we go.
We'll give 30 seconds for people to join, then get started.
Let me know if you guys can't hear it. If you guys can hear the audio. But it should be good. They're starting in the 30 seconds. So
hello, everyone, and good evening. I'm
Okay, you guys can't hear the audio, which is so stupid, dude. I am so annoyed they're doing this on Zoom because Zoom makes it weird. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix this. Oh my gosh, why are they doing it through Zoom, dude? I can hear it. You guys can't hear it. Maybe it's on my side. Hold on, let me see. Let me see. No, my audio is up. My audio is up. This is weird, bro. All right, let me try it again. Let me know if you guys hear it or not. Let's see.
Using the feature at the bottom of your screen. You can submit questions throughout the webinar, and Michael, Fong, or Andrew will answer questions at the end of the session. Please be sure to provide your name and your company's name when submitting the questions. Now, I'll walk you through the agenda for today's call. First, when submitting the questions, Fong Lee will cover the business highlights for the fourth quarter and full year of 2024. Second, Andrew Kang will cover the financial results for the fourth quarter and full year of 2024. And then finally, Michael Saylor will provide a strategic review and discuss the recent Bitcoin market updates. And lastly, we will open up the Q&A. With that, I will turn the call over to Fong Lee, President and CEO of Strategy. Fong?
Thank you, Sharish. Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar and our first earnings call at Strategy. Microstrategy Incorporated today announced that it's now doing business as Strategy. The Microstrategy name and logo date back to our incorporation more than 3 decades ago in 1989. At that time, we positioned ourselves at the forefront of the microcomputer revolution. The term micro symbolized precision, and our focus on harnessing the power of computing to create business intelligence that changed how companies operate. There have, of course, been significant changes since then, both in the technology industry and to our strategy. Technology is now ubiquitous, and our business strategy and value to our customers is no longer limited to technology. Today, the company is excited to announce its rebrand as Strategy for the following reasons. 1, simplicity. Strategy is a single word, easy to remember, and has 40% fewer letters than MicroStrategy. Continuity. Since Strategy is the second half of MicroStrategy's historical brand name, it would represent an evolution, but not a complete change or break from our past. And 3, ambition. The new name would also reflect our ambition to keep pushing boundaries. For example, we are no longer confined to the past, but we're focused on the big picture, driving new innovations in digital capital and business intelligence. So today, Strategy is the world's first and largest Bitcoin treasury company, the largest independent publicly traded business intelligence company, and also a NASDAQ 100 stock. The brand simplification is a natural evolution of the company, reflecting our focus and broad appeal. The new logo includes a stylized B, signifying the company's Bitcoin strategy and our unique position as a Bitcoin treasury company. And our new brand's primary color is now orange, which represents energy, intelligence, and Bitcoin. Alongside our rebranding, we're excited to launch the official Strategy merchandise store, a reflection of our commitment to our passionate retail shareholders who take pride in being part of our journey. Just as sports fans proudly represent their favorite teams, our shareholders and employees and customers want to showcase their support for Bitcoin and for us. Our store will feature a curated collection of Strategy apparel, accessories, and gear designed for those who share our vision. You can now visit the store at store.strategy.com. We welcome your feedback and look forward to seeing our community represent Strategy with pride. Next, I'm also excited to share that we launched a new website, strategy.com. As you can see on this slide, it includes a live tracker of various metrics and market data, including share price, performance, market cap, Bitcoin count, trading volume, options, open interest, and more. We believe such a disclosure will provide more transparency and consistency and real-time information to our investors and stakeholders. Investors can see both real-time data and historical information, such as past Bitcoin purchases, in one simple, accessible place. We have many investors and analysts aggregating this information on their own, and we thank them for their fastidious work. Now we can provide this information, trusted and governed, all in one place. Finally, we've relaunched our software website too, strategysoftware.com. We continue to be at the forefront of innovation in AI-powered business intelligence. We're also progressing rapidly with our cloud transition with a truly cloud-native, open, multi-cloud approach. These are highlighted at our new software website. To celebrate our new brand, learn more about our innovations in AI, cloud, and business intelligence, spend time with our software customers, and meet folks on the forefront of Bitcoin for corporations, I invite you all to join us at Strategy World 2025 in Orlando, Florida. Go to our websites to register for this event, and I look forward to seeing many of you in Orlando. And if a brand launch was not enough, many of you know we've had a very busy quarter since our last earnings call. Here are some highlights. One, we continue to see momentum in migrating existing customers and adding new prospects to our managed cloud platform. In Q4 2024, we saw a 50% year-over-year increase in current subscription billings and a 48% year-over-year increase in subscription services revenues. Second, we've adopted FASB's fair value accounting standard for our Bitcoin holdings, and this accounting change will be reflected in our Q1 2025 financials. This will lead to a large one-time cumulative effect net increase, the opening balance of our retained earnings of $12.75 billion in Q1, as our Bitcoin holdings will be revalued from the current carrying value to the market value. We are proud to have contributed to the corporate initiative advocating for the revision of prior reporting standards that categorize Bitcoin as an indefinite-lived intangible asset. Three, in December 2024, Strategy was officially included in the NASDAQ 100 index. As a result, investors in QQQ and other NASDAQ 100 index funds will receive exposure to our Bitcoin strategy. According to some estimates, ETFs tracking the NASDAQ 100 have more than $550 billion in assets under management. We view this as an important milestone in the institutional adoption of Bitcoin, and we're proud to be part of the NASDAQ 100. In December, we welcomed 3 new members to our board of directors: Brian Brooks, Jane Dietz, and Greg Winiarski. This expansion increases our board from 6 to 9 members and reinforces our commitment to the highest standards of corporate governance. Each of these distinguished leaders brings a wealth of invaluable experience and expertise in digital assets, capital markets, and regulatory matters. And we believe they will make significant contributions to our strategy as a Bitcoin treasury company, further strengthening our strategic vision and oversight. Lastly, we conducted a special shareholder meeting in January, where our shareholders voted to increase the authorized Class A common stock to 10.33 billion shares and preferred stock to 1.005 billion shares, respectively. The expanded share count will support the execution of our strategy to raise capital opportunistically and effectively through both equity and fixed income securities to purchase Bitcoin in a manner that we believe is advantageous and accretive to our shareholders under the prevailing market conditions. Moving on to the Bitcoin highlights for 2024, Strategy remains the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin in the world, now holding 471,107 Bitcoins, with a total Bitcoin market value of $46 billion as of February 2nd. In the full year of 2024, we acquired an additional 258,320 Bitcoin for a total purchase cost of $22.1 billion at an average price of $85,447. In 2024, the price of Bitcoin appreciated, spurred notably by the approval of spot Bitcoin exchange-traded products, or ETPs. Additionally, the pro-crypto stance of the new administration led by President Trump has drawn considerable institutional attention to the asset class. We believe the introduction and initial success of the spot Bitcoin ETPs evidence the growing maturation of Bitcoin as an institution-grade asset class with broader regulatory recognition and institutional adoption. On the capital markets front, we made significant progress towards the advancement of our Bitcoin strategy. We announced our 21-21 plan in the Q3 earnings call in November to target raising $21 billion of equity and $21 billion from fixed income securities between 2025 and 2027. We have made progress under our 21-21 plan, much faster than originally anticipated, with rapid and responsible growth in our capital raising, given favorable market dynamics. In the full year 2024 and quarter to date, in Q1 2025, we raised $18.8 billion net proceeds through our at-the-market or ATM equity offering program, and raised $6.2 billion through the issuance of 5 different tranches of convertible notes. This makes Strategy the largest issuer of convertible bonds in a single calendar year in the last decade. We also raised $584 million gross proceeds by issuing Strike, a preferred perpetual stock, last week after filing a shelf registration. We expect to continue issuing innovative fixed income securities and seek to enable our common stock to outperform Bitcoin via intelligent leverage. To manage our overall leverage intelligently and maintain a healthy and robust balance sheet, we redeemed our $500 million senior secured notes due 2028 and called our $650 million convertible notes due 2025 and $1.05 billion convertible notes due 2027. All of our Bitcoin serving as collateral securing our 2028 senior secured notes was released. As illustrated on this slide, our new capital structure includes the issuance of convertible preferred equity for investors seeking lower volatility and leverage. We believe that our new perpetual strike preferred stock, or STRK, is a complementary addition to our convertible bonds and any future fixed debt instruments we might have. Strategy's unique position allowed us to introduce Strike, which is a form of convertible preferred stock with an embedded perpetual call option on Microstrategy, our common stock, which has substantial exposure to Bitcoin. It's important to note that Bitcoin itself is one of the most volatile and historically high-performing commodities available. We created a preferred security convertible into highly liquid equity, which in turn is issued by a company that holds significant amounts of Bitcoin, a volatile and liquid commodity. To our knowledge, Strike is the first preferred equity or convertible preferred equity issued by a company with significant Bitcoin exposure. Its ticker symbol, STRK, is the second publicly traded ticker for Strategy. While Strategy aims to issue leveraged equity through which our investors gain exposure to Bitcoin, STRK Strike offers an 8% fixed coupon and a perpetual uncapped call option in a publicly traded security. This overall capital structure is quite unique and designed to broaden our investor base. The primary objective of introducing Strike was to access an investor base that is interested in investing in securities with exposure to Bitcoin, but that wants lower sensitivity to Bitcoin's volatility and performance, both on the upside and downside. We recognize that those investing in MSTR Class A common stock typically seek higher volatility and leverage, but we also saw an opportunity to attract a new class of investors interested in reduced volatility and leverage yet still wanting Bitcoin exposure. As reflected in the snapshot of our capital markets activity, 2024 was a milestone year for Strategy, with over $22 billion raised to fuel our Bitcoin strategy. The pace of our capital raising and Bitcoin acquisition significantly accelerated in Q4 2024, during which we raised $15 billion through equity issuances and $3 billion via convertible debt in just under 2 months. To put the scale of last quarter's activities in perspective, prior to last quarter, we had raised $10 billion over 17 quarters since adopting Bitcoin as our treasury reserve asset in August 2020. This remarkable ramp up is not only a testament to Bitcoin's broader adoption and price appreciation, but also to support our diverse investor base, who recognize our ability to execute our Bitcoin strategy with laser focus. Andrew will provide further details on our capital markets and Bitcoin purchase activity. Last quarter, we developed a new descriptor for what we are, which is the world's first and largest Bitcoin treasury company, the acronym being coincidentally BTC. We continue to focus on acquiring more Bitcoin through our capital market activities, and we believe that the value proposition of the company centers increasingly on our Bitcoin treasury strategy. We're a publicly traded company that has adopted Bitcoin as our primary treasury reserve asset. By using proceeds from equity and debt financings, as well as cash flows from our operations, we strategically accumulate Bitcoin and advocate for its role as digital capital. Our treasury strategy is designed to provide investors varying degrees of economic exposure to Bitcoin by offering a range of securities, including equity and fixed income instruments. In addition, we provide industry-leading AI-powered enterprise analytics software, advancing our vision of intelligence everywhere. We leverage our development capabilities to explore innovation of Bitcoin applications and integrating analytics experience with our commitment to digital asset growth. We believe our combination of operational excellence, our strategic Bitcoin reserve, and our focus on technological innovation positions us as a leader in both the digital asset and enterprise analytics sectors, offering a unique opportunity for long-term value creation. Since our adoption of our Bitcoin strategy, we've used three primary mechanisms to acquire more Bitcoin. One, fixed income securities. We've issued $8.6 billion of total debt, of which $6.2 billion in principal amount of convertible debt is outstanding, and an attractive blended cost of debt fixed at 0.56% annually. We also raised $584 million in gross proceeds through perpetual preferred stock, and we will continue seeking to innovate with other fixed income securities offerings. Common stock issuances. We have issued $21.7 billion in shares of Class A common stock in a manner that we believe to be accretive to existing shareholders. And cash flow from operations. Since August 2020, we've used $836 million of total cash generated by our software operations to purchase Bitcoin. These three capital market levers have allowed us to raise $31 billion of capital and deploy intelligent leverage to increase our Bitcoin holdings in a manner that we believe has created tremendous shareholder value. Last quarter, we introduced our 21-21 capital raising plan targeting $42 billion in capital, split equally between equity and fixed income over 3 years. Since then, supportive macro conditions led us to accelerate the execution of our capital raising plan. We've already raised 80% of our $21 billion equity target and 17% of our fixed income target, while accumulating significant Bitcoin holdings. In 2025, we are shifting our focus more to fixed income issuances, including convertible notes, preferred stock, and other securities designed to provide leverage that benefits our shareholders. As mentioned in the past, our long-term leverage target is 20 to 30% of our Bitcoin holding value. We remain flexible and will continue to adapt swiftly to market conditions. Now I'll turn the call over to Andrew to discuss our financials for the quarter in further detail.
Thank you, Phong. I'll begin with a review of the software results, then go into further detail on our Bitcoin strategy and those results. On slide 16, you can see in Q4, total software revenues were approximately $121 million, down 3% year over year. Full year 2024 total revenues were approximately $464 million, down 7% year over year. We fully anticipated product license revenues along with support revenues to decrease in Q4, and our revenue trend continues to reflect the ongoing successful transition of our software business from on-premise to cloud. Turning to the cloud results, Q4 subscription services revenues increased 48% year over year and now make up approximately 20% of total revenues. Full year 2024 subscription services revenues were approximately $106.7 million, reflecting an increase of 32% year over year. The growth in subscription services revenues is a result of the growth in our subscription billings, which also grew by 57% in Q4 to approximately $65 million, our fourth straight year of quarterly double-digit growth. The strong growth in our subs billings was again driven by both existing customer migrations to the cloud as well as new customer wins in Q4, and our customer renewal rates continue to remain elevated, consistent with prior quarters. We continue to see growth in demand for our cloud platform, and Q4 was the strongest quarter of customer migrations to cloud to date. The decrease in product license revenues and support revenues will be offset by growth in subscription services revenues. We expect this trend will continue in 2025 in the short term, but in the long run, cloud subscription services revenues should offset this shift as we fully transition our business to the cloud. Cost of revenues were approximately $34 million, up 21% compared to Q4 of last year, and approximately $130 million for the full year, up 18% year over year. The increase was driven primarily by higher cloud hosting costs, which we expect to continue in future periods as a direct result of our growing cloud business. Operating expenses for the software business were approximately $94 million, down 6% compared to Q4 of last year, and full year OpEx was approximately $396 million, which was up 2% year over year. And lastly, digital asset impairment charges in Q4 were approximately $1 billion and approximately $1.8 billion for the full year. I am happy to announce that Q4 will be the last quarter where we will recognize an impairment charge on our Bitcoin holdings as we move to fair value accounting in Q1. Now, turning to our Bitcoin strategy, Q4 was the most successful quarter of adding Bitcoin on our balance sheet since the adoption of our Bitcoin strategic reserve. We acquired 218,887 Bitcoins from the beginning of the fourth quarter till now for approximately $20.5 billion at an average price of $93,600 per Bitcoin. As of January 24th, the company held a total of 471,107 Bitcoins acquired for an aggregate cost of $30.4 billion, or approximately $64,511 per Bitcoin. Strategy has added Bitcoin to our balance sheet in every single quarter since August 2020 across 50 plus announcements, and 100% of our Bitcoin holdings remain fully unencumbered. As of February 2nd, 2025, the market value of our Bitcoin holdings was $46.1 billion, purchased at an aggregate cost of $30.4 billion, and an average Bitcoin purchase price of $64,511. Beginning with our Q1 2025 reported results, we will reflect the impact of the new FASB fair value accounting rule for our Bitcoin holdings as part of net income. As a result of the change in accounting rule on January 1st, 2025, we recognize a positive cumulative adjustment to the opening balance of our retained earnings of approximately $12.7 billion, which was in large part due to the significant difference between the higher market value of our Bitcoin compared to the carrying value of the Bitcoin on our balance sheet as of December 31st. We will remeasure the fair value of our Bitcoin holdings on the last day of the first quarter, and any difference in the price of Bitcoin at the end of the first quarter compared to the ending price on December 31st will be recognized as income or loss as part of our GAAP reported net income. Since establishing the record $21 billion common equity ATM program on October 30th of last year, which was in fact the largest in capital markets history, we have issued new shares swiftly yet extremely prudently while adapting to the strong market conditions. This chart illustrates the weekly breakdown for the average daily shares issued via our ATM compared to the overall average daily trading volume for each of those weeks. You'll note that while we have sold $16.7 billion of common equity since announcing our new ATM program, That activity accounted for only a very modest 2.9% of the total average daily trading volume of MSTR for the entire period. We continuously monitor Bitcoin price, MSTR share price, as well as overall trading volumes in a programmatic and disciplined manner to sell shares through our ATM and execute sales in a manner we believe that does not impact the overall market price of MSTR. Now, turning to our treasury operations. We had one of our most impactful quarters from a capital markets execution perspective. In Q4, we issued a new $3 billion convertible note in November, which was upsized and well received by the market. The notes due December 2029 had a 0% coupon and 55% conversion premium, reflecting a conversion price of approximately $672 per share. As in the past, the net proceeds from the new convert were used to acquire additional Bitcoin. In Q1, we called for the redemption of our $1.05 billion 2027 convertible notes. As the notes were substantially in the money, we expect most holders will elect to convert their notes into shares of our Class A common stock on or prior to the redemption date. We believe this creates capacity for additional intelligent leverage for our balance sheet in the form of new fixed income instruments. After the redemption of our 2027 convertible notes, our nearest debt maturity is now more than 3 years away and not until late 2028. And the remainder of our scheduled debt maturities are evenly spread over several years out to 2032, with a weighted average scheduled debt maturity of approximately 5 years. Under our current capital structure, we now have $6.2 billion of unsecured convertible debt outstanding, with a blended interest rate of approximately 0.56%, with staggered stated maturities beginning in December 2028 through June 2032. Last quarter, we filed a $21 billion equity at the market program, which was the single largest ATM program ever filed in the US. As of February 2nd, we issued $16.7 billion of common equity under this program, and approximately $4.3 billion of capacity remains available under the shelf. This slide outlines the key terms of Strike, our newly issued perpetual convertible preferred stock. We successfully raised $584 million in gross proceeds through the issuance of 7.3 million shares at an offering price of $80 per share. We expect that the security will be listed on NASDAQ under the ticker STRK beginning on February 6th. Looking ahead, we have the flexibility to explore an ATM shelf registration for issuing additional Strike shares, similar to our common stock ATM program. Strike represents the next step in the evolution of our capital structure, expanding the range of investment opportunities for investors with varying risk profiles. And it complements our equity and existing convertible bonds, offering exposure to Bitcoin through MSTR with lower volatility and leverage. We continue to maintain significant debt coverage with $47 billion in Bitcoin holdings against just $3 billion in out-of-the-money convertible debt, or approximately 15 times coverage. We have been asked how we evaluate our leverage targets. We measure leverage risk not against our Bitcoin cost basis, but rather our debt coverage ratio, which remains exceptionally strong. Our current leverage ratio remains below our long-term target range of 20 to 30%, which we provide capacity to expand our capital structure prudently and based on market conditions. In 2025, our focus will be on opportunities to raise additional fixed income securities while preserving flexibility to raise equity and maintaining a healthy debt coverage ratio. Similarly, we believe we have substantial coverage to meet the dividend obligations for our Strike shareholders. The 8% fixed dividend on 7.3 million Strike shares results in an annual cash need of approximately $58 million. Even if netting out the $3 billion in out-of-the-money converts, our Bitcoin holdings leaves us with $44 billion of coverage, more than enough to cover Strike dividends if needed. This slide illustrates our approach to intelligent leverage and the mechanisms available to increase or decrease it. Our outstanding debt and preferred stock together account for approximately 8% of our market cap and approximately 15% of our Bitcoin asset value. Currently, we are below our long-term leverage target of 20 to 30%, and we believe we have capacity to lever up by issuing new convertible debt or fixed income securities. Conversely, deleveraging can occur through debt repayment or conversion to equity, issuing common equity, as well as if Bitcoin price appreciates, which naturally lowers leverage as the market value of our holdings increase. Our leverage ratio declined in Q4 2024 and quarter to date in Q1 2025 due to the combination of these deleveraging factors. As we strategically increase our leverage ratio in 2025, we expect enhanced benefits for common shareholders through a higher BTC yield and elevated volatility, both of which drive long-term value. Today, we are introducing two new KPIs, BTC gain and BTC dollar gain. BTC gain is defined as the number of Bitcoins held by the company at the beginning of a period multiplied by the BTC yield for the same period. This metric quantifies in Bitcoin terms our BTC yield for the quarter. For the full year 2024, our BTC gain was 140,538 Bitcoins, calculated by multiplying the 74.3% BTC yield to our starting balance of 189,150 Bitcoin. Taking the year-end Bitcoin price of 93,400, our BTC dollar gain for 2024 would be calculated as $13.1 billion. It is worth noting that the BTC gain and BTC dollar gain metrics are not gains in the traditional financial context. They're also not measures of return on investment or measures of income generated by our treasury operations or Bitcoin holdings. And BTC dollar gain does not represent the fair value gain on our Bitcoin holdings. Our BTC yield in 2024 of 74.3% surpassed the annual BTC yield in all of the previous years, as well as our initial target of 6 to 10% this year. We can't predict the price of Bitcoin, nor can we predict broader equity and debt capital market conditions. However, we are confident that our Bitcoin treasury strategy will continue to generate value and are revising our targets for 2025 to achieve a minimum of 15% BTC yield and a $10 billion BTC dollar gain for 2025. We will continue to consider the full spectrum of financing options and explore creative capital markets, transactions, and untapped pools of capital to execute this strategy effectively and prudently. We plan to remain disciplined in the use of both the ATM and other capital raising alternatives, doing so in a way to achieve our BTC yield and BTC dollar gain targets. Thank you again for your time today and for your continued support of Strategy. I'll now turn the call over to Michael for his remarks.
All right, here we go.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to address you all today. I'd like to talk about developments so far. Why don't we start with the last 12 months in the Bitcoin marketplace? I think starting from January of 2024, with the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, we had an excellent year of institutional adoption. I would say Wall Street adoption of those ETFs has been extraordinary. There's now something on the range of $140 billion of capital that's flowed into spot Bitcoin ETFs around the world. We saw this transition to fair value accounting in 2024. We've got a Bitcoin president. We've got a pro-Bitcoin cabinet. We've seen an end to the war on crypto. We've got 250 plus pro-crypto legislators in Congress. We've seen the repeal of SAB 121, which had an effect of preventing banks from being able to consider banking Bitcoin. We've got a lot of enthusiasm around the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Act. And we've seen a dramatic increase in Bitcoin Standard companies like Mara, like Riot, like Semler, like Metaplanet, like Kohler, are all beginning to adopt Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. And there's just been a consistent increase in Bitcoin awareness throughout mainstream media and throughout the traditional investor community over the last 12 months. Next slide. I want to say a few words about our strategy rebrand. We have become a global brand. People recognize strategy in South America, in Europe, in Asia, all across the world, all across the US. And so this is a very logical development. Strategy is easier to say, easier to spell, easier to find, easier to remember. I've been 30 years in the business, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone refer to Microstrategies and get the plural wrong and spell it wrong. And I think that this particular instantiation and elegant evolution of our brand is going to allow us to reach a much broader group of customers, investors, and partners. And I also think it ties our identity much more closely to Bitcoin and all of the positive aspects of the Bitcoin network in the world. And so I think this is going to be very, very helpful for us in communication. Next slide. Our performance is driven by Bitcoin. And as you can see, since we adopted Bitcoin as our primary treasury reserve asset, we've been able to generate annualized performance of approximately 110% a year, which is really extraordinary in the history of the capital markets. Over that time period, bonds are minus 5%, gold and real estate between 6 and 8% ARR. The hurdle rate really is the S&P index, which is about 14%. And if you want to beat it, you pick the top 7 companies, the Magnificent 7, you can almost double it. You can get 29%. Bitcoin has outperformed that by a factor of 2. And of course, we've been able to outperform Bitcoin by intelligently levering Bitcoin. Next. This slide just illustrates that one of the results is that MicroStrategy has outperformed every stock in the S&P 500. So this is as of February 4th, yesterday, my birthday. It's a nice birthday present. We continually benchmark ourselves against every company in the S&P 500 every single day, and we're always considering this. But as you can see, it's not close. We're dramatically outperforming the strategy of every other company in the S&P 500 with our Bitcoin strategy. Next slide. Here you can see at the end of the day, if you just bought Bitcoin, you would outperform 99% of the S&P 500. So Bitcoin as pure digital capital is a very, very compelling investment idea. The Magnificent 7 is outperforming 94% of the S&P 500. And of course, the index is outperforming 62%. And the message here really is many, many companies are struggling to outperform the index. And it's time to consider a Bitcoin strategy. Next. Well, as you know, the secret, of course, to that strategy isn't just performance, it's also the volatility. Volatility is a measure of energy. And as you can see, strategy is the most volatile stock out of the S&P 500 universe. So we don't hide from it. We're quite proud of it. We engineer the business in order to stay volatile. Conventional wisdom is to strip volatility from a publicly traded company, strip it from the balance sheet, strip it from the P&L. MicroStrategy has embraced volatility, and not only do we pursue it with Bitcoin, but we pursue it with our leverage strategies to actually get a volatility that's greater than the native Bitcoin volatility. There's a result of that volatility, and the result is liquidity and optionality. As you can see here, we have the largest open options interest of any company in the S&P 500 universe as a measure of market cap. And you can see we're number 2 in liquidity as a measure of, or divided by market cap. So we've established a fairly intense capital structure. It's fast money, it's hot money, and it's that way by design. Next. One of the results is we have the largest, deepest options pool in the Bitcoin universe. And you can see that our options are trading by a factor of more than 5 versus IBIT. And we'll continue to pursue this strategy. We think this gives us an advantage. Next. That optionality and that volatility, of course, is a benefit in the convertible bond market. You can see here that the blended performance of our convertible bonds is 75% versus Bitcoin's performance of 64% during the same time frame. So our convertible bonds are unique. If you wanted to get Bitcoin exposure, but you wanted to get the credit assurances of a bond and or the volatility characteristics of a bond, MicroStrategy is unique. We were the largest convertible bond issuer in 2024. We think we have an advantage in this market because we have one of the great use of proceeds for a convertible bond. If you're going to issue a convertible bond, you want high volatility in order to issue the bond, but you want to take the use of proceeds and reinvest it in a high volatility asset, which is what Bitcoin is. And so by issuing a bond and issuing very volatile securities and then buying back a volatile commodity, we're able to maintain a scalable business and continue to go back to the market over and over again. Next. And so on the margin, you can see MicroStrategy is outperforming all major assets, all major asset classes, and the S&P. And we're so enthusiastic about this, we've decided that we would go ahead and memorialize this and create a strategy.com website. And if you go to our strategy.com website, you'll see you're able to actually track MicroStrategy's performance against the Magnificent Seven, against these asset classes every single day in real time. And so our goal is to help educate the investment community so they actually understand both the characteristics of Bitcoin and the characteristics of MicroStrategy versus all the other investment options in that investment universe. Next. You'll see on the strategy.com website a dashboard, and you'll see all sorts of interesting KPIs that are being maintained in real time. What you can see here is a snapshot is we've got an annualized return of 110% over the year versus 59% for Bitcoin. You can see our options market is 5.6x as big as the next largest Bitcoin options market. We will continue to track metrics that aren't always easy for people to get, like daily trading volume or daily trading volume as percentage of market cap, or give you every single day real-time performance of our convertible bonds versus Bitcoin, and our implied volatilities and our historic volatilities. And so I'm really enthusiastic to see what people think of this. The website, it's kind of tailor-made.
All right, we're done. We're done with this. I cannot believe you guys voted to make me do it. I put the link for the new one in the chat. Everyone who wants to leave, you can go to this one. This is another one of my friends who's streaming it. You can comment in his chat that I came from Amit's stream because he couldn't listen anymore. But look, I did it because you guys voted for it. Okay, you guys voted for it. I said ARM, Qualcomm, and MSTR won by 70%. So, I mean, what was I supposed to do? Got to give the people what they want. So if you want to leave, there's the link right there. It's my boy Sean. He has a channel as well. So you can listen to it on his channel. So if you and get the MicroStrategy earnings from there. All right, that was kind of torture. That was kind of torture. That was not fun. Sailor's not saying anything interesting. And look, it's an earnings call. I mean, I shouldn't be blaming them too much. It's an earnings call, right? It's their earnings. They get to say whatever they want. It's just, it's like for everyone who's not really into Bitcoin or not in the trade, it's not as exciting. They are rebranded to Strategy now. So that's what you got. Yeah, the problem is the first 20 minutes, they were talking about a link of a merch store. And I'm like, what is this, bro? Like, I've never heard a company say, hey, we launched our new merch on their earnings call. I'm like, okay, that's pretty, like, why are we even listening to this right here? So, like, even Pouncer that has a merch store did not say we have a merch store. Check out our merch store. It's just like, what is going on here? I don't know. I don't think I've listened to this call ever. It's been a while since I listened to it. Maybe it was like a year and a half ago I listened to MicroStrategy. So I don't know what to expect. There's the link right there if anyone wants to check it out. But we are done with this one. Okay, so in terms of the broader markets, Qualcomm's down, MSTR is flat. Ironically, MSTR is having the best earnings because they're not really tanking. Qualcomm's down 4%, ARM's down 6%, Symbiotic down 17%. I don't know what the hell they said on their call. Ford is down 5%. Hoodie is doing its thing after hours, 54.35. Looks like it wants to go higher, and looks like Q4 earnings are going to be pretty strong. NVIDIA down a little bit. CrowdStrike's up a little bit. SoFi's down a little bit. Google's flat. AMD's down another 1%. Nike's up a little bit. Tesla's down a third. SMCI is actually up 1.46. Scrab's up 1%. Baba's flat. Snapchat's up a little bit. And then Enphase is flat after hours. That's it. That is it for what we got. Guys, I'm probably never doing a Discord for those that are asking. I don't think I can manage a Discord, bro. That's like way too much. It is the amount of notifications I'm getting every day. It's like actually last night I kind of just like was like, this is like I don't know what to do anymore. This is too much, and I'm very grateful for all the messages, but I'm like I have to respond, but then you respond to one and then you realize you have 100 left. And I'm the type of person that wants to get something done in its entirety. So if I respond to one, don't respond to the other 99, I feel bad. And then I'm like, well, why should I even respond in the first place to that one if I'm not going to respond to the other 99? And then I delay responding to a bunch of other messages. It's just, I couldn't imagine a Discord, bro. A Discord with 1 billion messages going back and forth. There's no way. No freaking way, bro. My Twitter messages are already a pseudo Discord. With DMs and with just notifications on posts, and so it's just a lot to respond to, bro. And a Discord would be insane. A Discord would just be insanity. There's no way I can manage it. The mods wouldn't be, guys. First of all, the mods don't get paid. All right, they're doing this out of the goodness of their heart. So I don't think the mods want to manage 10,000 messages in 15 different channels every single day, because that's what it's going to be like. That's what it's like. Everyone's going to want to give their opinion on a stock, and it's going to go blah, 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 blah. It's going to go crazy. I shit on people for the paid Discords, but part of the reason they have paid Discords is because you can't just have a Discord open for everyone, because then everyone's going to join and everyone's going to say anything, right? So if you're paying $20 a month, it like gets rid of the majority of people. But I'm never going to charge for some paid Discord. So I just don't think it makes sense to have a regular one anyway. Just give us your phone number. Yeah. To be honest, I've given some people my phone number and I kind of regret it, because sometimes they message me and I'm like, what are you messaging me this for, dude? Like, why are you messaging me this? Like, I gave you my number out of confidence that, you weren't going to message me some nonsense. And sometimes people are sending me that. I'm like, why are you sending me this? Like, I can't explain it. So, is Mr. Derek Wall? Oh, Derek, were you listening to your boy Sailor? Go on Bumble and go on a date. Thank you for the 100 super, Mr. Derek. Guys, we're going to call Derek right now. We're going to annoy him. That means he was listening to MicroStrategy. Let's see if he picks up. Let's see if he picks up. He gave you money for the date? Yeah, he gave me money for the date. He might not be. Oh, is he there?
Hello?
Hello, you are live on the market close.
I just got back from the dentist.
Oh, how was the dentist?
I literally logged in and it was like boring. Like, what are you talking about? It's like flat. It's like so boring. I just had to think of something. You need to go on Bumble after this and go on a date.
Well, I'm going to use the $100.
For $100, you could probably buy coffee and keep smiling.
Dude, what do girls expect you to spend on a date? Like $500? Is that the
I
expectation?
haven't been on a date in so long.
I feel like that's what they
I don't know.
What's up, man? How's life? How's running the startup?
Terrible.
Terrible in a good way or in a bad way?
Wait, am I on live? Am I live?
Yeah, I said you're live.
Hi,
Yeah.
everyone. Sorry. Terrible. Yeah, startups are hard. It's good though.
Okay, first of all,
So,
it's not terrible because some of the partnerships and deals you're making are incredible. So you are absolutely crushing the startup.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, the cool thing is not one company said no, and so the hardest thing as a founder of a startup, and especially our team now, we have it's probably the smartest team we've ever assembled, because they're so intelligent, and IQ's at 150, 160, 170.
There are people on your team. There are people on your team that have already had multi-$100 million exits. Like, it is crazy.
Yeah, so engineers left $4 to $5 million a year salaries for like $100 grand, $150 grand. Yeah,
that's wild.
But yeah, a bunch of our guys have had hundreds of millions of dollars exits. Yeah. But it's what I was saying. It's very hard. Like, it's challenging. This sucks being taped. It's probably going to pick up somewhere, but it's challenging to work with high functioning people where they're so intelligent they overthink things, and it's awesome for me to sit in a room and go, no, this was wrong. Thinking simple, stupid is so hard. Yeah, so that's what I do every day. Dealing with complex problems and making them really simple, which is awesome. You pair brilliant minds, them, and a stupid mind like mine, and that's where the magic happens. Really, I'm being dead serious.
Are you enjoying the process of because now you raised money, now you're in execution mode? Are you enjoying the fact that you're just purely in startup founder mode at this point?
Yeah, so we closed on around butterflies and waking up every morning like you want to throw up. Yeah, that's kind of like over. Drinking through a fire hose, being the business guy. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. We opened up today at Stanford University, our headquarters.
Wow.
Yeah, StartX gave us $1.3 million at Stanford University as a grant.
Also, StartX only accepts like 2% of the applicants.
They get like 25,000 applicants a year. They only accept, I'm not joking, like 15, 20. And ironically, we didn't even apply. They came to us. And ironically enough, we said we're in stealth and we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to be mentored. And that's not out of arrogance. It's just like, we want to be, heads down. We already raised money. And they said, it's okay. So my co-founder, Matthew, is there right now. And the only requirement to accept it was to spend 2 days in orientation. And then we're bad citizens. Yeah. I'm grateful. Yeah.
It is pretty incredible. For everyone asking about Derek, I put his Twitter in the chat. For those that don't know, he is a mentor of mine and an amazing entrepreneur. So if you guys want to follow him, you can follow him there.
Is everyone in the community laughing at this whole Figure AI stuff, or what's going on with that?
No, I think they're just eventually, they're gonna see if Figure is actually gonna be what we think it can be. But they are agreeing that no one trusts Sam Altman anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
What are your thoughts on Palantir at this stage of its?
I told you. I think it will probably in the next I don't know. I'm not gonna put time to it. I think we see Palantir at 120, 140, 200, in the next 12, 16, 18 months probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not crazy.
Everyone's probably in there. Yeah, Derek dunked out at $20, $22. I still am fascinated at the whole momentum. I'm proud of everyone for holding in there. More importantly, I'm proud of my partner. He's probably listening now, but he stuck it in. He went all, like, not all in, but he, you know, almost $1 billion he's made over the last year. And I've seen so many lives change. My phone's blown up, you know, literally in my will says to only to own if I died. My kids was like, it was like NVIDIA, Palantir, like literally that. And I was the guy, and all my kids, and I have 24 nieces and nephews, like, Uncle Derek, thank you so much. Like, well, I'm so rich. And I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, I bailed out of that thing a long time ago. Fuck, if they only knew, they would fucking freak out. Even my mom and dad, like everyone. Yeah.
I was just saying, they
10,
still think
like,
you're
I
in
think
it.
everyone's like 10x or 9x or something like that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I just keep dunking my money into private AI companies, robotics companies, and starting companies. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible public investor.
Well,
literally, if Figure was public last night, I probably would have sold my stock this morning.
Okay, so this is a good conversation because we've had this conversation privately before. But
and I think everyone in the channel had, you know, either you, like my partner can gut anything. I don't even care what it is. I don't care if it's bankruptcy and he's like, I'm holding in. Like literally, like I flight. I just run. I'm a terrible investor. That's why there's accounts that I don't even know the passwords. I mean, I never even looked at them because if I do, I'd sell it. Like if I look at it, I sell.
how do you manage the shiny object syndrome? Like how do you manage to not sell?
Bro, let's talk about that. I've missed opportunities making billions of dollars in the last 2 years because of this. Yeah. How do you do that? You have conviction, you go in and you fucking lose your password. That's the only thing is you take it off your app. I went a whole year last year and I removed all my trading apps from my phone because I can't look at it. The stuff that I make a lot of money in is stuff I never touched.
Yeah.
So when you have pure conviction, don't lose that. And if you start losing it, remind yourself why you have the conviction.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we talked about this the other night. It's so fascinating for me to see you have Tesla people that are diehards. You have SoFi diehards, Palantir diehards, this diehards, that diehards, right? Everyone believes in something just as much as the other person. And it's always a reminder, my partner Vlad says this, it's the horse you pick.
Yep. Because we were saying if you were a SoFi diehard, it's done well, but it's different if you were a Palantir diehard. It's done exceptional, right?
Yeah, but yes, like yeah, and then there's basic math. Did you tell everyone about 2 + 2?
Oh no, I didn't. You should do the honors. That would be perfect.
Okay, yeah. What's 2 + 2, everyone?
All right, put in the chat. What is 2 + 2?
Well, give me some answers. I want to hear them.
Okay, let me see what people say.
Let's see if anyone gets it. Maybe someone knows this one. This was taught to me by my business partner, who's my best friend in my whole life. Who is the most brilliant finance genius on the planet. And he wakes up every single day thinking he has $0 in his bank account every single freaking day.
Okay,
and he's a billionaire.
There's a lot of fours. There's some 69s.
Fours.
But yeah.
All right.
Okay, is it 4?
No.
Okay. Let me read some other answers. It's not 4. Someone says 10. Someone says 22. Someone says 5. Someone says 69. Someone says 1.
You just tell me the answer. It's fine.
Okay. Go ahead. No, you tell him. What's the answer?
No, you tell him.
No, you tell him.
You tell him.
This is your punchline. You have to tell him.
No, you tell him. Just tell him. This is good. This is good. This is good. This is good to learn this. And this is called life.
Okay. So 2 + 2 can be either 3 or it can be either 5. Meaning it's 3 when you buy it for less than what it's worth, aka 3 is less than 4, or it's 5 when you sell it for more than what it's worth, aka it's 5 versus 4.
The moral of the story is this: you always buy when you think something is undervalued, and you always sell when it's overvalued.
Yep.
When the answer is 4, you always buy at 3.
And you always sell at 5.
And I think that is a rule in life. And I heard this 3 days ago, where my business partner and I were driving home from work together, and he said 2 + 2. I'm like 4. He goes, no, Derek, 2 + 2. I go 2 because the government takes half. And he goes, no, fucker, like it's 3 and 5. I go, well, what does that mean? He goes, the value is 4, but you always want to buy it at 3.
And you want to sell it
the
at
value
5.
is 4. Yeah. And that's true to investment, right? Yeah. And that's why I think they always say the best companies to buy is at the 200-day moving average, no matter how bad it is. Is that I think Warren Buffett said this, or Charlie said this, is that, any great stock with a great company at 200, and it's the moral thesis is this, is that 200 is actually devalued of what it's actually really worth.
Well, that's what we saw in NVIDIA. The whole past 2 weeks, it held the 200-day moving average, and now it's doing good. And if you bought there, you've done well.
Yep.
What are your
so that theory is actually really right. If you look at any great running company, like it doesn't mean applicable to any company, but it's actually any great company. If it sits out at that 200-day, it's a buy for sure.
What are
because that means it's less value.
What are a lot of people are asking, what are your current thoughts on Tesla? How are you thinking of this stock right now?
We talked about that, didn't we, this morning or something? Geez.
It's hard, right? It's hard to have an opinion.
Yeah. So here's the fundamental thing. So, we all know that I believe. I mean, I think you have to be a fucking idiot to realize that Tesla or like Nvidia will be the largest company in the world. It's possible that Nvidia can beat them, but only just because of compute power, and I think they're just going to own everything by just the value of what they provide. But we all know the problem. We have this problem, and it has nothing to do with Elon Musk. And it has nothing to do with management. It's a supply and demand problem. So when you have, lower demand and lower margins and lower net income, you have a failing company, like for sure. That's just like business 101. That's what they teach in school, right? But we all know, like I own like 6-7 Teslas. I know what these are capable of. I know these are robots, and I know they're on the road. I think the byproduct is humanoid, right? However, we're held by many things, and that's technology, and then regulations as well. Like I think the regulations it's not a federal problem. We're talking a state problem. So half of America hates the guy, and half of them love him. And so I think, as far as Tesla is concerned, Tesla's a buy. It's not. I mean, to trade Tesla is awesome, but if you DCA into Tesla, I don't.
It's hard to find a bottom, but you're
330, 340. I don't know.
Yeah, you're saying.
Don't ask me. You know what I mean? I build out a Palantir. Everyone hates me then.
But you never bailed out a Tesla. You still have Tesla from 2010, right?
I always believe in Palantir. It's just like the problem is when I go all in, when I literally go in millions of shares, like. You know what I mean? So I just can't, when I think like, oh, I made like X amount of dollars, it's like, nice, see ya later and go into the next. It's like hit and run. It's awesome, right? It's terrible though. It's a horrible way to invest.
Can I ask you this question? Because I think people in the chat would definitely be curious about this. What is it like to see a portfolio move the way it moves for you? I mean, when you've got millions of shares of something, obviously there's dramatic moves.
Right, I mean, when you're all in, you can't sleep.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean,
well, look at it. I think I don't know. I think I started the kaboom and from your network effect and Archer. It's the same thing, right? Boom. I had like million shares at Archer and I was out because you know what? I bought it at $1.40, $1.87. My kids own it at like from 3 years ago when I invested in Figure because of Brett and then the whole Archer thing. But it's like when it moves, right? I don't just go back to $8, $9. That's crazy. I mean, like 10, 20, $30 million. I'm like, yeah, it's shiny object syndrome. You take your profits and leave. Yeah. You
are one thing, you say you're bad at holding, but you're really good at selling and taking a profit, which is a skill in and of itself. Right?
I learned that from Vlad.
Like, that's not easy to take a profit, dude. It's like, because everyone holds on, and sometimes that works, but other times it could hurt you really badly on certain stocks.
Yeah. It's all momentum.
Yeah.
Easy stocks to trade to make a lot of money is Tesla. Easy stocks to lose all your money is stocks like Tesla.
Do you still care about the markets every day, or are you so?
No, I don't even look. I haven't been on X or looked at markets in weeks. Maybe some investors were like, "Yes, Derek, you're an investor. Stock up."
Dude, it's so funny because guys, so I invested $25K into a startup, and like every day he's giving me like real updates from the startup, and I'm like, damn, I should have put in a lot more money because this thing is going way better than anything I could invest in the public markets. Like, No stock is going to
cool.
give you a return.
So we raised this money, and then I had my first board meeting last week, and I think I told you. That weekend I got a call from our 2 board members and said, "I fucking hate you." I go, "Why?" They're like, "We've never seen anything like this." Like, what do you mean? You were into it 3 weeks and you're shipping product already and like demos and like you hired the smartest people, and it's just it's just calculated. It's me being this is 6 company and you know what to do and not to do, and I'm proud of our team. I'm just the idea guy, and I sell people on the idea and concept and get people excited and let them build.
Well, I just think it's really cool because this is, as you said, your 6th company, and the past 5 have been very successful, but this thing could be like a different league of its own.
This could be. This is a big deal. This is like big. This is bigger than like Salesforce big. It's big. If it works,
As wild.
It could be $1 trillion company.
You can make me very rich if you pull this off.
Yeah, you can make billions. Okay, I gotta go. I'm late for a design meeting. Love you guys. See ya. Ciao.
Love you, Derek. Bye. Bro, I got to invest in the startup really fucking early. If Derek actually pulls this off, bro, like it's gonna be insane. But it's gonna be hard. It's a startup. It's not easy. Sean just messaged me. He just said, "Did you do something?" He got a bunch of new people into the stream. Everyone said Amit kicked us out. Everyone said, "Fuck Amit. He kicked us out." Look at this. He kicked us out. That's hilarious, bro. That's great. I'm sorry. We could not keep listening to Saylor just talk about Bitcoin him outperforming what's his name? NVIDIA. MSTR outperforming NVIDIA. Again, for those that don't know Derek, he's a really good friend of mine, a mentor of mine. He is a very successful entrepreneur. Obviously, I mean, you guys heard him talking, right? He buys millions of shares at a time, so he's incredibly wealthy as well. But he's one of those wealthy people that actually gives a fuck about other people, and that's why, I'm very, very grateful for him to be in my life. I've met wealthy people that are just like, not the nicest people in the world, and then you got wealthy people that just want to give back as much as they can, like, and genuinely with zero expectation of anything in return, because he doesn't get anything from him mentoring me. It's not like I add anything to his life that is that substantial. So it's as you get older, I think you want to give back to people and you want to leave a legacy. And he's one of those people that cares about that at this stage of his life. His birthday is going to be next Wednesday. So he'll be, he'll be celebrating as he goes for his last big hurrah. And I think it's really cool because for those asking what the startup is, it's not worth me explaining it. It's in the B2B commerce space. It's not that exciting. It's not a robot. It's not AI or anything. But the point is, Derek runs a $600 million company right now in Miami called HubX, which does commerce, and they sell computers and hardware and laptops all across the world with Apple, Lenovo, like HP, all these brands, right? But it's a hardware business with crappy margins. He's essentially building the same business he built with hardware for software. And like, I know he just said it could be bigger than Salesforce, and a lot of you guys are like, fuck out of here, right? But like, actually, dude, like if you saw some of the updates I'm seeing, like it legit could be a $300-400 billion company. And I know it's crazy to say that, but it's possible. The network effects inside of the company, the virality, and the team he has, he's had people leaving Google and Uber that are making millions of dollars a year to take $100,000 salary to work here. Like you don't get that. I mean, you saw what he said about StartX. StartX is a very, very private startup community. They get 25,000 applicants a year. They accept 20. They didn't even apply. They came to him because they wanted him to be part of the program. So it has all the potential to be that company. Will it happen? It's up to the next 10 years to find out, but it's his last big hurrah. It's his last big hurrah. And so it's cool to kind of be on this journey and see that happening. He is not my sugar daddy, goodness gracious. Although he sends money like he is, dude. This guy's sent ridiculous amounts of money, but it's just, I've never asked for a dime. I don't ask people for money, but I think he's very grateful for the friendship. As you get older, you realize in life, do you actually have any true friends? And I've never asked for money. I never wanted money. I never wanted anything. I never even asked for a mentor. I just like it. It's funny because when people ask for a mentor, like it's very inorganic. Usually a mentor comes in your life or like organic. Like Chris is a mentor of mine. Steve is a mentor of mine. I never asked them to mentor me. We just naturally started talking, developing a relationship. And then they walked me through situations in life and they became a source of of guidance that I would go to when I'm struggling with an issue. I mean, I've called Steve and Chris about life issues, not even just stock market issues, you know? So I think when you can find someone you trust and you find someone you genuinely can connect with and have a real relationship with, it's special because it's hard to do that. And regardless of if they're wealthy or not, if you're able to make that connection, that's important. Which is why this community is so awesome, right? Because a lot of us have been able to connect in a variety of ways. Davis says, bro, you're still live. Yes, Davis, this is my life, dude. I love when people come into the stream, they're like, you're still live. I'm like, yeah, I'm still live. I'm still alive. And that's why I'm live, baby. Know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. Dude, the live streams, though, have been kind of crazy because, like, we used to stream 45 minutes to maybe an hour 15 every day. And now it's 3 hours minimum in the morning and probably 2 hours minimum in the afternoon, which is kind of wild. Every single day. Christina says that was good. Christina, thank you. I hope the 3-year-old is still sleeping and that didn't wake her up. Dude, I felt so bad, bro, when I saw your comment. She was like, now my 3-year-old is cursing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't be poisoning the youth with these curse words anymore. By the way, Trump's doing a bunch of stuff right now. He's signing a bunch of executive orders. A bunch of Congress people are mad at Elon. They're literally protesting him in DC right now. So you got a bunch of that stuff happening. I guess that was the big news after hours today besides earnings. And then tomorrow's an important one because we got Amazon. Amazon is going to be important. Yo, what time is it right now for those that are watching? What time? What time is it for you? So it's what, 6:12 p.m. for me right now? What time is it for those that are watching here? Who watches at like 4 a.m., bro? Who's like up at like 4 a.m. watching this? Even says it's 1 a.m. 5:11. Okay, that's Chicago. Davis is in California. Christina's Mountain Time. I know the Europeans have to have it earlier. Yo, dude. I can't, like, what is 23:12, bro? That's 11:12, right? Like, I'm always so bad with the time zones that like in America we call them military time zones. Yeah, that's 11:12, I think. I'm so bad with it, dude, because we don't use it that often here. But Europe uses it a lot more. I interviewed someone today from Europe. You guys are going to enjoy this. I had a podcast today with someone. I think you guys will enjoy it. Oh, sorry. Davis is in Vegas, not California. Forgot. He's in the shittier part of California, or the shittier part of the West Coast. I forgot. I interviewed someone today from Europe, and it's a really good pod. I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. It's a fun one. It's a really fun one. It's he's a leader at a company that is very important. So this will be a good one. I think you guys will enjoy it. 1:13 a.m. in Estonia. Dude, where is Estonia? I've never actually, it's a country in Europe, I know that, but where is it on the map? Estonia. It's near Latvia, Lithuania. Oh shit, it's right near Russia. Oh, I did not know that. Okay, so that's where Estonia is. I feel like I've heard about Estonia so many times, but it's one of the countries I know the least about in Europe. Granted, I know nothing about Latvia. I know a little bit about Lithuania because Palantir has a business there that I looked into and sent some deals a year and a half ago. Cool. All right, it's not Grindr. It's not the Grindr CEO. Goodness, bro. Dude, but it's getting kind of annoying now because there are some CEOs that are hitting me up to do interviews, and they're CEOs of penny stocks. And I'm just like, no, dude, like we can't, like, I get that you want to get more distribution, but I cannot interview you because you want the stock to go up. Like, that's just not happening. So, like, if I don't care about the company and I'm not like if there's not anything interesting to discuss, like, we can't just do an interview just because you're a CEO of a public, like, being a CEO of a public company means nothing because most public company stocks are in the gutter. Like, it matters if your company is actually executing and performing, you know? So it's like, and I would hate to do that because it would be obviously trying to pump the stock, right? And I'm like, dude, you're a CEO of a company. You can't just come onto the show and start talking your book just to get people to buy the stock. Like, this is why Alex Karp matters, right? Like, you need someone who can communicate. You need someone who can get people to give a fuck and listen. And it's so hard to do it. It's so hard. And quite frankly, in the age of AI, communication is the only differentiator. Communication is the only differentiator in a world. I mean, this is the reason the SoFi. By the way, the SoFi Bulls are freaking fight. They're eating each other up right now. I mean, they are literally arguing back and forth about how aggressive Noto should be in the calls. Like, you got Data Driven Investing, who's a friend of the channel, getting upset at this guy who's basically getting super emotional about SoFi right now. And it's like, this is what happens when you don't have a CEO that can get people to buy the stock because he can't get people to care about something. There's so many people I saw today, so many Palantir bears that are like, Karp just talks hodgepodge. I'm like, you're just an idiot, bro. You're like, actually, like, in a world where you need people to buy your stock over another stock, you need to get people to care. And outside of the numbers, there needs to be some level of communication. My camera just died. In order to get people to care. And the only way you can get people to care is to get them to actually believe in your mission and vision. And unfortunately, Noto is not doing that. He's getting a lot of people upset in the SoFi community. I mean, they're literally going back and forth, arguing about, are you an authentic bull or not? And I'm just like, and by the way, we had these conversations in the Palantir community as well. Back in 2022, there were massive debates on the one thing I will say about me, and there is not a single video on the internet, because it never happened, where you'll be able to see me not defend Karp. Because believe it or not, back in 2022 on Palantir Weekly alone, we were having debates on, is Karp the right CEO? And every single time I was like, look, I get it. Stock's in the gutter. I get that he doesn't care about sales. And I understand that we need to care about sales and marketing and distribution. But this motherfucker is the right guy. He is the right guy. And it was just a blind belief that, like, this guy's going to figure it out, you know? But if you don't have that belief, then it's like, it's tough. It's tough to keep it going. So how did I get to this point? The reason I got here is because communication matters. And you know, if you're a CEO that needs to pump your stock, you need to get the message out there, and you can't just do it by getting on a show. You have to, like, actually get people to care, which means you actually have to say something that matters. And Karp never went on the Joe Rogan podcast. He just said enough stuff that mattered, and it went viral because, like, people actually listen to what Karp has to say, you know? So it matters. Communication definitely matters. Vlad is kind of boring. So I will agree. Vlad is not like the most engaging communicator. However, Vlad paints a vision when he talks. And I think Noto doesn't really paint the vision. And so when Vlad talks, I listen because you can tell, like, he like really sees the future. Also, again, Vlad's a founder, dude. At the investor day, you know, some of his employees were like, dude, this guy, like, literally works 24/5. He maybe takes Saturday and Sunday off, but, like, he just does not stop working. And he puts a lot of pressure on the employees. I don't know if Noto's working that hard, bro. And I'm not saying he needs to. I'm just saying, like, when you're a founder, it's different. There's a different level of energy. That's another reason I love Grab. That guy's a founder, bro. It's not like Grab doesn't have a bear case, but that mother effer. There's someone tweeted me today, oh, he has a bad relationship with his dad. That's bad. That's like a bear case. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, he wants to prove his dad that he's successful in spite of not joining the family business. That, to me, is some deep emotional shit. He's got some daddy issues, and those daddy issues might make me rich, quite frankly, because I think he's motivated to get the stock higher and prove that he's successful. Dude, daddy issues are, I think, one of the, like, top 5 motivating underlying factors for why people become successful. People that have a nuanced relationship with their fathers, I guess you could say with their mothers as well, but it tends to be fathers more often. That leads to this level of aggressive ambition, in my opinion. And I think that creates the ability to, like, you know, want to be more than what you are today. At least that's what I've seen. And from people like Michael Jackson had a bunch of issues with his dad, with physical abuse. You see it with a lot of these CEOs. Zuck's actually had a great relationship with his dad. Elon has a horrible relationship with his dad. I mean, you go time and time in history. Some of the most successful people have had a fucked up relationship with their parents, and more likely than not, their fathers. So I guess the bright side of having a bad relationship is it makes you work really hard to try to build something. Now, granted, 99% of people are not going to, like, become the next Elon, but still, there are situations where nuanced family relationships motivate you to go and be better. Or they become porn stars, correct? Or there's been some pretty bad headlines the past couple of days on the adult film industry as well. You either become Elon Musk or you become Lily Phillips or whatever her name is. Pouncer below briefly, 100 below. Pouncer's below 100. Robin is 54.25. No, Pouncer's at 175, 100.75. Dude, Pouncer drops below 99 for seconds, or drops below 100 for seconds and gets bought up. It was below $100 today for like maybe 35 seconds when I was on the phone with Steve, and I was like, Steve, we got to buy the dip. And Steve got annoyed at me for saying that, but people are buying it above 100. People are not letting it fall that easily. Dude, the freaking Democrats are going after Elon, man. There are a lot of protests happening today around Elon. It's aggressive, bro. They are upset at him today. Let me show you guys a photo. I just got tweeted this like an hour ago. Bring it back to the OG days. Shout out to Eric if he's watching this. He just said, this dude was screaming Pouncer 3 years ago. Thankfully, we listened to the young dude with world-class debate skills. And I was like, and a wild beard. Dude, some of you guys don't know me with the beard. Your boy had a beard, bro. Your boy had a beard. Your boy had a get stopped at the airport type of beard. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a beard. And for some reason, I liked having it. And then finally, I realized, you know what? Maybe I should just trim this thing. But your boy used to be there, bro. Your boy used to be there. Dude, my mom would call me a terrorist. That's how bad it was. My mom, my mother, the woman who gave birth to me, she'd be like, you look like a terrorist. And I'd be like, that's racist. And she'd be like, I don't give a fuck. You look like a terrorist. And I'd just be like, all right, whatever. Yo, the funniest joke I ever heard, the funniest joke when I had that beard, bro. People used to say this in the YouTube comments. It was hilarious. They'd be like, yo, we know Amit's bullish on Pouncer, but he kind of looks like the guy Pouncer would be targeting. Dude, every time I saw that comment, every time I'd be like, not gonna lie, that's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of funny. That's really funny. That's funny, right? Like that comment would pop up like every other day in 2021. Bro, 2021 was wild. Like the amount of YouTube videos I was putting out about Palantir, it was kind of insane. And that's when like I was really building the channel and just doing it. And it's like, dude, look at this shit. I mean, if you sort by my videos from oldest to now, every day, these were the thumbnails at the time. The first video was I dropped 25,000 into Palantir stock. That was the first video. And then it was just video after video after. I was still putting my face in the thumbnails because I thought like I needed to have my face there. Every day. It was all these. By the way, these were 2 videos a day. It wasn't 1 video a day. It was 2 videos a day. I was obsessed with learning about this company and putting out more videos every single day. Every single day. This is one of Karp's first interviews that I was reacting to. This is one of the interviews he did with Andrew Ross Sorkin. Getting the Kathy Wood, I was talking about that. Then look, Shyam Sankar, is he Palantir's next future CEO 3 years ago? I mean, just, but the thing is, there was no other YouTubers really covering Palantir as much as I was covering them. So every single day, it was just more and more Palantir. But it was a guy who had a crazy beard talking about Palantir. And, you know, eventually people would make those jokes. So, but it was a fun joke. It was a fun joke. Yeah, with Shabari, dude. See, Eric's an OG. Shabari was one of the first Palantir YouTubers as well. He made a couple videos and then he kind of stopped because he had a wife and kids. Dude, it's so hard to be consistent with YouTube. It's so freaking hard. And I don't know what it was at the time, because at the time, again, I had a client that I was driving 60 miles up north from this house to be able to do work every day. And that's like that was the majority of my income at the time. But I was dumping it into Palantir when it was falling 80%. But I didn't have like that work was like 2 to 11. So I had my morning open. It wasn't like a traditional 9 to 5. So in the morning I would wake up, I would think of like 2 to 3 videos. I would get there. I would like not focus at my quote unquote job for like a couple hours and make thumbnails, edit it. And I would try to just like be low key about it. And then I would post it during the time I was at work, and I would come back home and I would plan out the videos for the next day, answer all the comments. It was just like such a grind, bro. Like right now is definitely grinding, but like back then it was a fucking grind. Shout out to Irwin, the old days. Irwin was there, bro. Irwin was there early 2022. It was just different. And like obviously there's a grind now, which is just like a different type of grind. But in those early days when no one knows who you are and no one gives a fuck about Palantir, but like you kind of think there's a niche on YouTube that can be created by you talking about Palantir, it was just the OG days to make it happen. And now we're here. Palantir trained their software on your videos. Oh my gosh. Dude, someone sent me this. ChatGPT was recommending my videos, and like Gemini was recommending my videos on Palantir. The Australian press, they had me in some article with about Palantir. Someone sent me that the other day. I don't know. I guess when you're a decent source for a topic that people care about, you know, you can get cited from there. From grinding to grinder. Oh my gosh. But then again, I'm not complaining about the grind. I mean, part of the best part of building anything is going through the pain, right? And doing the grind. Like it's the fun of actually trying to attempt to build something. But then the thing is, again, when you catch momentum, you got to be able to build on top of it and get momentum to build more momentum. And funnily enough, I think Karp was kind of saying this on the earnings call. He was like, it's easier for us to scale now that we've already achieved scale and we're bigger, and now we're getting more inbound because people care about us because we're getting all this attention. And so like momentum builds momentum, and it's this like, I don't know, it's sort of like a universal truth in physics, right? It's like this idea that once you have momentum, it can get even crazier in terms of opportunities and things that happen. Like, dude, next week in California is going to be wild. We got some really cool things that are going to be happening in California. And some stuff you're not expecting. So it's a snowball effect. Exactly. It's a snowball effect. So, but you fucking work your ass off to keep the snowball continuing to snowball down. I don't know if that makes sense, but shout out to Sean Trades. Yes, Sean, I sent everyone to your channel because I was tired of listening to Saylor brag about MicroStrategy compared to NVIDIA. So I showed your picture on the stream of everyone saying Amit kicked us out. So hopefully they got to enjoy your channel now. Dude, Luka at 4 p.m. on Saturday is going to be playing for the Lakers. Wow. This is going to be fun, bro. This is going to be fun. Luka on the Lakers on Saturday. I will be watching the NBA for the first time in probably a year to see that. That's going to be fun. That's going to be very fun. Get someone to record the meetup. I'm definitely going to make some more videos at the meetup because we didn't take too many videos last time. So we'll definitely get some videos and some content and make it happen. February 13th is the meetup. Again, I will put the forum right here in the chat. Just pay attention to your email. This Saturday, you will get the Telegram group. And also, by the way, I'm going to say it again. If anyone is in the Bay Area and is good with videography or photography, I need your help because I have a project I will pay. And I literally need someone by next Tuesday, and I don't have anyone yet. So kind of freaking out on how I'm going to figure it out, but I will figure it out. So if anyone knows anyone in the Bay Area that's good with audio, video stuff, please hit me up on Twitter. And we can potentially get something done. When are you visiting Chicago? Hopefully in the spring. Chicago's too cold right now, but hopefully like April, May, it'll be a lot easier to make it happen. Europe destinations are locked in? No, not at all. So I know London's locked in and France is locked in if Robinhood still has their event in France. Again, that's the reason I'm doing it. That's like my excuse to go to Europe. So definitely France. I don't think I have a lot of people that watch from France though. So I don't know if there's going to be a meetup in France, but the UK, how far is the UK from France? How far is London from Paris? It's like a 3-hour train ride, right? It's a 5-hour drive. A train is 2 hours. Oh, that's perfect, dude. A 2-hour train ride from London to Paris? That should be easy. That should be super easy, dude. That's the one thing I do love about Europe. Everything's so connected. Like, literally, you can just get a train and travel across the entire continent to an extent. But all the major cities are, like, closer than not to each other. So that's dope. That'd be super dope. Do you still need assistance, Smith? Yes, so cold. I need someone for video audio if you have someone. Definitely would help. I mean, I'll figure it out if I don't get someone, but basically I'm recording a podcast at a CEO's headquarters and I need help setting up all the gear. So I was trying to find a podcast studio nearby, but it makes more sense to do it at their headquarters. So, and they don't have a media team, which means I got to bring the media team. So if I could just have someone who knows how to set stuff up, just because I don't want to focus on like the gear while I'm doing the podcast at the same time. And so that's the thing that I need someone for. Mateo says, I'm from France. Mateo, that's awesome. I have a friend named Mateo as well, but he's from Italy. That's super cool. Super cool. That's called interrailing. Did when I was younger, 5 countries in 14 days. Okay. Very cool. You're going to be in Northern Cali? Yes. Berkeley, Palo Alto region. Berkeley for Valentine's weekend, and then Palo Alto for kind of the week before that, from the 10th to the 14th. Really hope Hood offers us the whole package over here. This crypto only is a joke. Yeah, again, it's the regulatory stuff, dude. If we can't launch Super Bowl contracts in the United States because of regulations, Europe's got to be a different issue. By the way, the person I was interviewing today, I asked them, why does Europe suck at innovation? And they gave me a pretty harsh answer. So I don't know. Europe's eventually got to get their shit together or their GDP is going to fall off a cliff. So eventually, hopefully, that gets figured out. All right. I think that's it. Are we done? Are we done for today? 6:30. We got through MSTR, even though there was nothing to really get through on that. The interview is not with Vlad. It's not with Vlad. It's not going to be. It's a different CEO. So it won't be interviewing Vlad. But there's some other people I'm meeting that I think you guys are going to get a kick out of when you see it. So it'll be super cool. It'll be super cool. Yes, we're done unless you want to chat with us about nothing. I feel like, don't we do that at the end of these streams? There's always a Q&A. Good luck on your date. What date are you talking about? I don't have a date. I don't have any. Oh, are you talking about Derek's Bumble date thing? Yeah, I don't have a date today. We're not doing that. Matans, thank you for the super chat. Can you take a look at LAES? I put that on the list. I saw your other super chat, so I'll put it on the list. And we'll try to take a look at this one. Yeah, it was up 23% today. All right, yeah, I'll put this on the. I know nothing about the stock, so I'll put it on the list and we'll see if there's anything we can look at. How's the weather, Amit? You know, the weather in Jersey is actually not that bad. It was bad last week or January. February's been a lot better. Oh, yeah, Dana White on Met. Oh, I got to show you guys this clip. Okay, hold on. Let me show you this. We'll end with this. I saw this last night and I was like, whoa, this is like pretty wild that he said this. So it's like probably like a 5-minute segment. It's him talking about how he got on the Meta board, which is kind of crazy. When is Vegas? Vegas is most likely October. Honestly, when is my birthday this year? I might just do Vegas for my birthday again. My birthday is on a Monday. It kind of makes sense. Come to Vegas for the birthday weekend and we do a meetup. That could be a thing. So October 24th to the 27th. It definitely was going to do October, around that October, September time. But yeah, definitely going to be later in the year for Vegas. I like Vegas. I don't love Vegas. I'm not like a, oh my God, I love Vegas. I've been there a couple times, but you know, it's fun. It's just, I don't know. I like Palo Alto more than Vegas. Just much more of a chill vibe. Davis says, will you crash at my place when you come to Vegas? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. Hopefully Palantir is like 200 by then and I can get like a sick hotel room or something. I've never had one of those crazy hotel rooms in Vegas, dude. Never had one of those crazy hotel rooms. Maybe that's what we do that in Vegas. Dude, we gotta wait. Maybe we should have the Palantir $100 party in Vegas, right? We always said we were gonna do a Vegas $100 Palantir celebration or party. It's just I don't think anyone like we thought that was 2030 we were gonna do. It was like it's here, it's now. So it's like I guess we have to do it now. guess we have to find a way. Derek is giving you a clue on what you need to focus on, which is finding the right woman. You know, ironically, dude, Derek is so focused. So Derek has a woman in his life, but he is so focused on the startup. And ironically, he's telling me to go on a date. I tell him, like, bro, like, you know, you're getting older. You want to actually spend your life with someone. Like, this woman is head over heels for this guy. Like, this woman will. And it's not about the money. She has her own money, right? So she's actually a very successful woman in her own right. So she doesn't give a shit about his money. She just loves him, bro. She's in love with this guy. And I'm pretty sure he's in love with her too, but he's really wants his startup to become a multi-$100 billion company. And he's not messing around when he says that. So it's one of those things where like he's just so focused on his job versus like love or anything. But I don't know. I think everyone needs a companion at some point, regardless of what you're working on. All right, so here's Dana White talking about how he got the job at Meta. He talks about the Elon Zuck fight that was supposed to happen in the UFC. It's kind of crazy, so let's listen to this and then we'll end out the show.
With Trump showing up at the inauguration and creating a relationship with him. I feel like a lot of these people were, during the woke nutty madness that we went through, you know, I guess I would call it during the COVID era, and a little before that, are also relieved that it's over. And I think a lot of people, there was very few people, there was a handful of people that actually stood up against this and weren't afraid to face, I don't know, whatever we might have faced during that thing. A lot of people got canceled. A lot of bad things happened to a lot of good people during that time. And, but there was a handful of people that stood up to it. And I think everybody's relieved that it's over.
Are you concerned that at your next Meta meeting, you'll lock eyes with Mark Zuckerberg and he will steal your soul?
No,
do you not get that alien vibe at all?
I actually like Mark. No, listen, if I felt that way about Zuckerberg, I would have never been on the board. I would have never. So my head of PR actually hit me up one day and says, hey, Mark Zuckerberg's looking for your number. Can I give it to him? And I said, yeah, of course. So he called me and he said, would you mind coming up to my place in Tahoe and having dinner? And I said,
what's this place in Tahoe like?
I'll tell you. So I don't know Mark Zuckerberg, never talked to him, saw the movie. You know, that's as much as I knew about Mark Zuckerberg. Wow. So I walk into his living room of his house and they put me in the living room to wait. And he's got this American flag on the wall with like 13 stars on it or whatever, you know what I mean? And I'm like, off to a good start. In the back, he's got a house right on the lake. The biggest American flag you've ever seen in your life ripping in the wind in the backyard.
Really?
100%. 100%. Then he comes in, we sit down, we have dinner, and we probably talk for 4 hours. And I walked away from that first meeting liking Mark. And we started to create a relationship from there. We talked, and you know, he's a UFC fan, and we became friends. Then the whole Elon versus Mark Zuckerberg fight thing that was going on at that time, that was real, and I was in the middle of it, and I had a blast doing the negotiations with that thing, talking to Elon for an hour every night, talking to Mark an hour every night, and then I was literally.
What were the negotiations about?
About the fight, where it would be.
Bro, they were legit going to do this fight, which is wild to me. I thought it was a joke the whole time, but it was legit.
What weight classes, this, that, what could you do? What couldn't you do? And I was literally doing conference calls with the government in Italy to do this thing in the Colosseum in Rome. And
the Colosseum, dude. Like, think about Meta shareholders and Tesla shareholders knowing the lifeblood of the company, aka the CEO, was going to be fighting in the Colosseum. Like, that would have been insane if it happened.
You know, for the right number, the Colosseum was going to let us do that fight there. And then eventually it started to fall apart. But while it lasted, it was fun. And through that, Mark and I became even closer. And then I flew from Italy to the RNC. I spoke at the RNC.
Yeah.
And I flew back to Italy. my vacation with my family, and I got a text from Mark that said, "Hey, can you talk for a minute?" Called him back, and he said, "This is what he said to me. I think you're a great businessman. You always seem to be on the right side of everything, and my company needs a backbone. I would be honored if you would sit on the board for Meta." And
AKA, we need someone who's cool with Trump. I'm not saying Zucks doesn't like Dana White and thinks he needs the backbone, all that stuff, but obviously he needs someone that's cool with Trump.
This was right after your RNC speech?
Right after, as soon as I landed back in Italy.
He gave $350 million to Joe Biden's campaign in 2020. That's kind of wild that he's watching you at the RNC and is like, "I like what you have to say. I want you on the Meta board." Like, what do you make of that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
See, even Dana is just like, yeah, I don't know, but I'm not rejecting an opportunity to be on the board of a $2 trillion company. And for Dana, this is a massive opportunity. So I don't think he really cares about the whole Biden stuff, but he's with Meta and there's a big opportunity for him in the UFC.
That's interesting. You got to admit.
Yeah. But that's how it all went down. That's the beginning up until today of my relationship with Mark. And you know, I know a lot of people think my sister is as far right. My sister's like you, as far right as you could possibly get. During the COVID era,
she is a good person.
You met her.
Yeah,
you and her hit it off in New York.
Totally,
and
yes,
yeah, I couldn't get you two apart in New York. But my sister during the COVID era, I'd have to say, "Kelly, stop texting me. Stop, okay? The world is not ending." So my sister had her, her feelings about Zuckerberg and a lot of other people that are far right. But I'm just telling you, my relationship.
Kelly is not far right. Kelly's just basically a sensible person.
Kelly's as far right as you are.
So what did she think about you going on the Meta board?
She didn't love it, and but I said, listen, Mark Zuckerberg isn't what everybody thinks he is. He's not as bad as everybody thinks he is.
Well, I do think it was. I mean, we're just watching it from afar, not talking to you about it, but I thought the one thing that everyone knows about you is you're opposed to censorship. You're clearly, I mean, again, this week you came out and you said one of your fighters said something you thought was disgusting and you hated, but you're not firing him. Like, you've kind of taken a stand against censorship very publicly again and again and again. Facebook is known for censorship, so probably a good thing they're putting you on the board. Like, what's going to happen when you're sitting in a meeting like, we need to censor stuff we disagree with?
I think that's why I'm there. I'm not there for my technical capabilities. I can promise you that. And my,
do any programming.
What my theories on AI are and how we should, I know my role there, and I've already been in it. I mean, we've already had some situations and some things that we've dealt with. My first board meeting, actually in person, up in Silicon Valley, is a week after I fly from here to Sydney. We have a fight next Saturday. Then I fly home, and then like a week later is my first board meeting where we're not on Zoom. So I'm not I know what my role is, and I'm the type of guy, I will speak at this thing when I can add value and when I think I got a lot to learn. Never been on a board before. Run a company, big company now that deals in hundreds of millions to billions of dollars, and a lot of the things that I do are by, I would guess I would just say gut and how I think we should handle it. It's not like, again, my head of PR, she's brilliant and I respect her very much, but it's not like the other night when I found out what Bryce Mitchell had said. It's not.
Okay, so then it gets into a bunch of other stuff. But the point is, I mean, kind of wild, right? Kind of wild. The Coliseum, almost. They actually had a fight there. So that was kind of crazy. I was listening to that the other night and I was like, damn, bro. Like, Elon, Zuck, and the Coliseum. The fact that they were seriously thinking, Italy was thinking of the right price to make it happen. I feel like Meta and Tesla shareholders would have just been like going crazy over that. Because is it bearish if one of the guy loses, or what if one of the guy actually gets seriously hurt? Like, it's just, it would have been insane. It would have been wild. All right. I think that's it. We're done for today. I will see you guys tomorrow on the market open. Tomorrow's Thursday. This week's moving by fast. We got Amazon tomorrow. That'll be out at probably 4:05. And yeah, that's it. we'll keep going from there. Amit, for a person that is now getting more into stocks, you mentioned you dumped 25,000 into Palantir 3 years ago. What do you tell someone like me who has 10,000 and wants to hit six figures? I would say, my honest suggestion is the same thing I did back in 2021, right? It's like you go all in on something when you only have 10,000, right? When you have less than like 50 grand, I think you don't diversify because you can't put 2,000 in 5 stocks and expect to get that to six figures. The actual answer here is you just have to make more income, right? That was the harsh reality I had to face 3 years ago. Is I needed more income, and you got to work harder. You just got to fucking work harder. You got to find out what you got to do, get as many contracts as you can. If you're an independent consultant or you have your own firm, you try to negotiate a raise. Like the hardest part, and this is not an original thought, but everyone says, the hardest thing is getting to that first 100,000. But once you get there, it is a lot easier to compound it. So 10,000, honestly, I would put into one stock you really believe in and hope that stock does well. I would not put it into an ETF, but getting more income would make it a lot easier to then start investing. That's really the argument, right? Like when it got like to put serious money into the markets, you need to have money, and unless you get like lucky on a random bet or something, you just need to make more money in life. But again, that's part of the process, right? The whole beauty of investing is that if you take a risk on a stock and it works out, you feel good because your hard-earned money that you worked for was then compounded in a thesis that you had on a company, and the more of that money you can compound into that thesis or multiple theses, you're able to get the benefits from it. So just got to be able to get to work to that point. Until you have 100K, you need to have a funding plan. Agreed. 100% agreed. So early on, I turned 20,000 to 10,000. Oh boy, I definitely turned like 20,000 to 5,000 before in the beginning. That's for sure. So, but then you make some more money, and then hopefully you can take that 5,000 to that 20,000 and back beyond. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back on the Market Open tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Love you all. See you guys on the Market Open tomorrow. Bye, everyone.